Let them deal with that.
And just generally speaking, since Johan joined the club, has it been what you expected, or have things about Bath and life at Bath surprised you since he joined?
Massively, you know, I'm sure people know I've been here for 12 years now, so I've seen a few coaches, but it's felt like a new club. It's felt like a new atmosphere, and that's from the new chefs to the new nutritionists to the new S&C to the new physios to the new coaches. Everything's new. We've had a big influx of new players as well. So yeah, it's felt really fresh, it's felt enjoyable, and it's been hard, but you can see why you're doing it, and understanding the why behind it is, I think, the value.
Because he just seems, as a human being, he comes in when he meets the press, shakes everyone by the hand and talks to them off mic. Is he like that with the players as well, establishing personal relationships?
Massively. I think in rugby, players can be treated as commodity. There's a lot about that in the press at the moment. But people first, family first is a massive thing for Johan, and that rubs off on the players.
And you, 29 years young, how are you enjoying rugby in general at the moment?
No, it's good. I'm feeling it's good to have had an off season and to recuperate and regather and come back in with a fresh mindset. You know, I think rugby is physically really hard. People know that. Mentally, it can be draining as well. Like, I don't think there's a single player in this team who would talk about last year and smile for one reason or another. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the freshness of it. If your mind's young, your body feels young too. So it's been great for me. And
I had the pleasure of speaking to Piers for the first time last week. No secret, I want to play for England again. We know what playing for England meant to you. How much is that on your radar at the moment?
If I'm brutally honest, it's not. I want to play for Bath. I want to win something for Bath Rugby. That's my drive. People who are in the top four of the league, if you win the league, you're more likely to play for England. And if that's the byproduct, then fantastic. I'd love to do it. But ultimately, I'm here to win something for Bath Rugby.
Okay, we'll wish you well on Friday and beyond. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you.
That's Tom Dunn speaking ahead of Bath Rugby against Wasps. Kickoff is just a couple of minutes away. You're listening to BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Radio Somerset, and a warm welcome to listeners on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra, who are joining us for our Premiership rugby coverage of Bath against Wasps. Let's go live to the Rec and join our commentary team, the former Bath forward and captain Matt Garvey, alongside Dan Albert.
Thanks, Richard. Welcome to the recreation ground. Wasps just making their way out onto the field now in their home colours of their black and gold shirts. And now we get ready to welcome Bath in their blue, black and white shirts onto the field. They'll be led out by a very proud Tom Dunn for the first time in the Premiership. He's got the mascot at hand as well. And you can see the grin on his face as his hair flows behind him. Tom Dunn leads Bath out onto the field, and a sprinting Miles Reid not far behind him, and Miles Reid will be anxious, having waited patiently for his first game time of the season so far. Alongside me is Matt Garvey, the former Bath captain, and Matt, it promises to be a good game tonight between two teams looking for their first win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's two teams here eager and desperate to get their first win of the season. It's going to be a tight fought contest, but I can't wait to get it started. Friday night under the lights at the Rec, you know, doesn't get much better than this.
The home opener for Bath last week sort of left more questions than answers, really, didn't it, as they lost to Sale with a man advantage as well for the majority of that game. So they'll be keen to put things right tonight. Wayne Barnes is the referee. He's just waiting for the final signal from the touchline to get this game underway. He's in his pink shirt tonight, black shorts, black socks for Wayne Barnes. Bath are attacking the sports centre end of the ground, so they're going from left to right as we look at it here at the recreation ground. That's the way they prefer to go in the first half, of course, so they can attack the clubhouse in the second half. Wayne Barnes just checking with Wasps that they're ready to get going. Gives the signal, and Orlando Bailey will get us underway, and the restart goes just outside of the 22, and Bath have put good pressure on Wasps immediately to get to recycle that ball themselves. Bath have it through Schroeder, who's starting in place of Ben Spencer tonight, the captain out with concussion in the protocol, of course. Bath coming into the middle of the field, crashing forward through Dave Atwood, and now it's Schroeder again, getting Orlando Orlando Bailey, and here's Max Ajomo with his first chance to run through the middle, and he's put a kick through for Joe Thokinasiga to chase, but Wasps have gathered that one and have a chance to work position to get a clearance kick in themselves through Porter, the scrum half. Porter gets out the ball behind him. Here comes the kick now. It's going to be fielded by Orlando Bailey just inside the Bath half. He gets the pass away, a nice pass as well to bring Gallagher, who's starting in place of the injured Tom de Glanville at full back tonight. And Tom Dunn, the captain for the night, now has a carry through the middle up to halfway. Ball goes back to Orlando Bailey, who's going to kick this time. Up into the floodlights it goes. Orlando just inside of the Wasps half. Bath making a nuisance of things again, and the ball goes loose. But Wasps appear to have done enough to keep possession and get it under control. They come through their front row. That's a big collision in the middle of the field there. Big hit. It looks like Dave Atwood was involved in that one. And Wasps having to be very patient to get anywhere on that side of the field. So they're going to put the kick in instead. And it's going to be taken well by Bath. And they're up to their own 10-metre line. Long phase of play this. And Bath go through Miles Reid. They're in their own half, just inside of their own 10-metre line. And they will bring Schroeder in again. Just gets an extra player in front of him, maybe to work a better angle for the kick. Here comes Schroeder. Puts the kick away now. Goes to halfway. Bath chasing again, but Wasps take it well on the far side of the field. And now they will bring it back inside. Here's Atkinson, gets the pass away. That looked forward though. Wayne Barnes lets it go. Looked decisively forward. They're just on halfway now. Here's Atkinson again. Get the ball away to Spink, and it's Oldenhall having a carry now. There's Carr involved as well. Willis has a carry on the shoulder there, and he's a tough man to bring down. He goes to ground finally, and that's Jack Willis with the carry. And now they come out to the other side through Spink. Spink is taken to ground, but they're making good ground here, Wasps, and they're going back into the middle of the park now. But they are halfway between the 10-metre line and the Bath 22. Atkinson, that looked forward as well. Wayne Barnes was in a better position than me though, and says it was fine. Let's play go on. That's two questionable calls there that Wayne Barnes let go, and that one looked forward again from Wasps, but Bath drive Wasps back there. But Wasps keep possession. Wayne Barnes right in the position there, didn't see any of those potential forward passes. The crowd getting a little bit frustrated by it, but play goes on. And now there's a penalty for Bath finally, right on their own 10-metre line. Miles Reid celebrates with his Bath teammates. They get the penalty there, and just rewards really matter. It looked like Wayne Barnes may have missed a few forward passes there.
Yes, definitely a few questionable ones. I think the difference there was Wasps were getting momentum, speed of ball, and staying on top. Finally, Bath putting a couple of big shots, knocked them back, and then McNally gets there to turn the ball over.
And it's a good kick as well from Orlando Bailey, who watches that one go into touch, and it just inside the 22 at Wasps end of the field. So good position here for Bath to get their first real attack of the game going. Tom Dunn, captain on the night, gets the ball in hand, walks up slowly, and his teammates not far behind to take their position. And Tom Dunn, well, the first line out, Matt, is always crucial, isn't it? He'll be keen to hit his jumper here.
100%. Big banker, win the ball, get a big drive possibly, I reckon.
Goes to Dave Atwood, who's very reliable, isn't he, in that position. Takes it cleanly. Bath get the surge on there as fans stand up in front of us, which is unhelpful, but play goes on. Bath surging forward. And Wasps look like they may have stemmed the initial surge from Bath, but play goes on with Bath in possession. Now the ball comes out from Schroeder, gets Jonathan Joseph involved. He passes on to Ajomo. Ajomo goes to ground. Schroeder's in position again. And then they bring Will Stewart in on his 50th appearance. And Bath going through the numbers in the forwards there as Lewis Boyce has a carry. Now they're having to be patient for the small gains here from Bath, but they had a chance to get the ball away there, although it would have been a risky pass. They keep it inside instead, and now they'll come back this near side of the field through Tom Dunn. Schroeder waits for the ball. Gets the pass away to Dave Atwood, who spins out of the first contact but is taken to ground by more Wasps defenders, and then right on the shoulder, Bath pick and go again. Right in the middle on the shadows of the goalposts. And Bath getting closer, but they're still a good 15 metres out. Miles Reid goes forward again, to ground he goes. Good pick up from Bath there to get an extra metre there. They're trying to spread the ball out wide now. It's Josh McNally having a carry. He's taken to ground. Can they get the ball out here? They can. That's a good strong run from Bath. And Joe Thokinasiga trying to get involved. Bath getting closer, about 7 metres out now. No way through for them there. They have to recycle again, so they do so through Richard de Carpentier in his blue scrum cap. Now they come back to Orlando Bailey. Wriggles through one, tries to get the pass away, which was dangerous, and loses the ball. But we come back for a Bath penalty. Wayne Barnes playing the advantage. Good phase of play for Bath there, Matt, but just ran out of options in the end as Orlando Bailey was tackled in the middle of the field.
Yeah, straight away the thing I'm noticing most is that the Wasps, obviously their back row, we know how good they are slowing the ball down. You know, every breakdown they've got their hands in it. But when Bath negate that, when Bath put their cleaners in real quickly and they get that speed of ball, they look so dangerous. I think the battle of the breakdown and that speed of ball is going to be key tonight. Yeah,
Orlando Bailey kicks for the corner. So Bath showing their intent, Matt, early on as well, which is good to see, and the crowd will like that.
Yeah, I think speaking to some of the boys and seeing some things that I've seen around the club, I think this has been a big focus of theirs around the driving more. So I won't be surprised if they go again here. And you know, with the size of the pack they've got at the moment, this should be a weapon for them.
Yep. So Tom Dunn waits to throw in. It's going to be about just 5 metres out from the Wasps try line. Dunn will throw in now and goes to McNally. McNally takes it. Now Bath get the surge on, pushing forward. 5 metres out. Can they get closer to that try line there? Wayne Barnes in a good position to see the momentum going forward from Bath there. Getting pushed backwards a little bit here though by Wasps, and the momentum is taken out of that move, and Bath have to restructure the ball here. And now they're going backwards. They're about 8 or 9 metres out now. Schroeder's in position, and Bath will have to regroup. Jonathan Joseph inside to Thokinasiga. Thokinasiga nearly through, but too many Wasp numbers there, so they come inside again, do Bath, but they're not getting through that wall of Wasp defenders. They come back inside. Bath, all that's gone out of the hands of Tom Dunn. Wayne Barnes, Wasps have managed to jump on that one. Wayne Barnes hasn't signalled it was knocked on, and now Charlie Atkinson fakes a kick rather, puts the pass away for his teammate to get a better kick away. They do so, and Bath suddenly find themselves all the way back in their own half. It's Gallagher, the stand-in full-back, that kicks that one out on the fall, and an unforced error from Bath, and they'll be frustrated by that, Matt Garvey.
Yeah, I think you have to credit Wasps there. I mean, Joe Launchbury, what a player he is. I mean, he's got through that more there and disrupted it. It looked like a good platform for Bath, but Launchbury did exceptionally well, and then the pressure in their defence has led to a turnover. Great kick chase from Wasps. You know, they've put Matt Gallagher under pressure. It's led to the error, and now all of a sudden you've gone from defending a line out 5 metres to an attacking line out 30 metres away from the Bath try line.
Yeah, it's a very good position for Wasps, isn't it? And Bath will be happy with the way they've started, but they haven't come away with any points from it, and we've played nearly 9 minutes of this first half already, and Wasps will be happy, I suppose, as well, in the sense that they haven't conceded points when Bath have been in the ascendancy, and now it's their chance to launch an attack themselves. They go to McDonald. Kieran McDonald takes that, the second row, and they bring in numbers to try and get some momentum going. The ball goes loose, it's picked up by Porter. He tries to take it on himself. He runs into a Bath defender though, so Atkinson goes in to play scrum half instead, and now crashing to the floor is the Wasps front row. Here's Launchbury. He makes a couple of metres as they get closer to the 22 of Bath. Trying to go through the middle there. Bath were only just at wide, so that one is a little bit of a hole. And now they try and crash run again through the middle. It's a tackle by Stewart. It may have looked a little high, but Wayne Barnes happy for it to go. Wasps have possession, and they come through Carr inside the 22, and they go back into the middle through Bialo. Bialo is taken down. Porter's there. He's got the runner of Willis. He goes to Atkinson instead. He gets the pass away to Launchbury. Launchbury had a runner on his shoulder but wasn't able to get the ball away. The ball goes loose, and Bath look like they've jumped on that. They have indeed, and here comes a chance for Maxajomo to run at them. Maxajomo running out of his own 22. Picks it up well. It's Joe Thokinasiga, and he gets up almost to the 10-metre line. Wasps though putting them under all kinds of pressure. And now they'll have to get a clearance kick in from here unless they want to go through another phase or so, as Richard de Carpentier will take it on another phase. And now they've got Lewis Schroeder, the scrum half, in position. He's going to bring Lewis Boyce in to get an extra number in the Caterpillar. And here comes the kick now. It's a high kick, no distance at all really on that one. It's not even going to make it to the 10-metre line, and bounces back Wasps' favour. That's a disappointing kick from Schroeder. And Wasps have it in Bath's half of the field. The pass takes it back to halfway, and now Atkinson's looking to get the ball out wide far side of the field, but he's tackled before he can get the pass away. Wasps win the penalty, and Bath will be very frustrated there. It wasn't the best of kicks from the scrum half.
It's frustrating, but it's a team game. They did exceptionally well, defended really well. Bath 7 got the great turnover. Chris Cloytes, excuse my pronunciation. Great worker there, looks a real nuisance at the breakdown. And like I said to you before the game, I think the battle of the back rows, the battle of the breakdown, they're going to determine who comes away with this. It's great. Look how low he is to the floor, despite his own body weight. Great turnover, great piece of skill, but then just couldn't back it up with the execution of the exit kick.
Yeah, and Bath need that kind of turnover presence, don't they? They don't have Sam Underhill, of course, so they need someone like Cloytes to come in there and do that role. But it led to a misjudged kick, shall you say, by the scrum half Schroeder, and now a chance for Charlie Atkinson to put Wasps on the scoreboard and open the scoring for the night. He's just outside of the 10-metre line in Bath's half of the field, reasonably central as well, so reasonably good length, but should be okay for this distance. The kick comes now. He's certainly got the distance and he's got the accuracy as well, and it goes through the sticks, and Wasps get the first points of the night, and it's 3 points to 0 that Wasps lead. And in fact it's going to be Jacob Umanga, was it, that took that kick on for Wasps rather than Charlie Atkinson, and that's maybe to do with the distance. Atkinson did miss a easy attempt right in front of the sticks against Bristol last week as Bath get on with it and get the game restarted down to the 22, and that's a foot tackle attempt by Bath, and Wasps are on the attack again, and they're all the way up to halfway, and they're dragging Miles Reid with them there. And Bath will have to be careful here. They won't want to concede points that quickly. Pass goes behind Carr, but he's gone through a hole here. Nazim Carr is away into the 22. Good break from Wasps. Good pass from Umanga, and then taken on by Carr. Carr gets all the way inside the 22, and now Wasps are in a good position again. And they have to go back, though, and bring extra numbers in. And it's with Umanga. Umanga gets the pass right on his shoulder. Wasps just on the 22 of Bath, trying to make some surge. A good surging run forward there by the back row of Wasps, and suddenly they're looking dangerous again. They're about 10 metres out from the try line, right in the middle of the field, leading by 3 points to 0. Wasps here at the recreation ground. Carr, good tackle on him by Joe Thokanasiga though. And we come back though for a penalty against Bath, right in front of the post here. Wayne Barnes signals, and Wasps have a choice here to take an easy 3 points, extend their lead, or kick for the corner.
Yeah, I think again, it's frustrating from Bath, just compounded errors. They gave away a penalty, easy 3 points in front of the sticks. Kick off, recompose, and then just allow them a quick catch and miss a tackle. And next thing you know, you've gone from what you should be regathering an exit kick from Wasps and get into an attacking position to conceding a penalty 15 metres under your post. So you go from being 0-0 to 6-0 down potentially. Yeah,
and of course the start that Bath had as well, and they were knocking on the door, compounded even more, isn't it, when you're conceding those points. And Wasps are doing the right thing. They tick the scoreboard over. And both these teams, of course, looking for their first win, so points just build it up. That's the right decision for them to make.
100%. Keep the scoreboard ticking over, and as we said previously, is that you go two teams low on confidence. Once you're 6-0 down, and that could become 9-0, 12-0. Building the score becomes, a psychological battle as well. So advantage Wasps at the moment.
Jacob Umanga adds the penalty for Wasps, and they lead by 6 points to 0. 26 minutes to play in the first half already. BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Radio Somerset, and BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra with me, Dan Orbert, and Matt Garvey, the former Bath captain, alongside me tonight. And Bath started well, but they've conceded the points, the first points of the game. 2 penalties for Wasps, and they lead by 6 points to 0. Long way to go in this one though, and Bath will just want to steady it a little bit here, won't they? Next points, you feel, just to settle the nerves, really, not to let Wasps get more than a score ahead of them. Bath on the halfway here, trying to get Will Muir away, and Will Muir puts a high kick up to chase, and that's just unfortunate for Bath there as they chased after that one, took it initially, then dropped it forward. Great kick through from Will Muir, and as they tried to regather it, it was just lost forward, but it was a great attempt, wasn't it, from Bath there, and had he caught that cleanly, he may have been in under the sticks.
Fine margins, isn't it? Did very well there, I think caught Wasps snap blind there, going down the blindside channel, caught them asleep, and what catches that, it could be under the sticks, could be a whole different game. But keep your heads now, discipline. Wasps have got to get exit out from their own half, from their own 22. Best case scenario for this, if you're Bath, you either get the ball, you get a line out, another attacking chance. So
Yeah, it was close, wasn't it? It was a good kick. It was Matt Gallagher that couldn't quite take it, very close to doing so though. Instead he knocks it on, and Wasps inside their own 22. A scrum put in for them, and a chance to regroup and get a clearance kick in here. Porter waits for the scrum to set, and then quickly gets the ball in, and he lifts it up above his head after the scrum went down, so he hadn't had a chance to put it in. We have one of those things that nobody likes to see, Matt, a reset scrum.
Especially when you see the signs of the game starting to open up a little bit, a few line breaks, a few opportunities, and then we come back to the old time of the scrum collapse, restart. I'm sure that's just forwards catching their breath. You know, a couple of minutes of having to sprint back and forward. Well, hang on a minute, let's take a breather, let's reset, and let's go again.
Are you giving away tricks of the trade there?
Especially in my later years.
Yeah, they always say no one knows what goes on in the front row apart from the front rows themselves, don't they? So even you guys playing in the second row and the back row don't necessarily know what's going on in the front row. That's where all the battle is.
There used to be a call called Kit Kat, take a break.
Yeah. I'm sure that probably still exists now then, doesn't it, for a lot of teams, I suspect. The game finally gets going again, and the ball goes a little bit scrappy for Wasps. They do manage to keep possession though inside their own 22 from that scrum. They've gone to ground again, and they will have the chance to get the pass away here to Spink. Spink shrugs off the first tackle, nearly gets away from the second one, and as he went to ground he put the pass up for Umaga, and he just lost it forward. But that was another threatening break for Wasps there, really, because if that went to hand, Umaga could have been away.
Yeah, great play from them, to be fair. Again, silly from Bath, because they're deep in their own 22. They're going to probably kick the ball back or give you a restart or from a line out, and to give away a penalty and now give them a free exit is quite frustrating. But you know, brilliant exciting play from Wasps in the back there. It's a bit surprising me that gives advantage, and then you know, if Umaga collects that, he's under the stick. So at what point does advantage end there? You know, does he have to score, otherwise he brings it back?
Yeah, well the ball was very loose anyway, so I was surprised really that he let the play go on as long as he did, Wayne Barnes, when he had his arm out behind him. So we'll start the game with a penalty clearance. They'll take play up. We'll see whether the touch judge is going to stop running as they got out of their own half, but not quite, just inside their own half. Wasp, but worrying for Bath, a player down, and it's Chris Cloutey, who on his Bath debut didn't last very long against Bristol, and he's down again receiving treatment now.
Fingers crossed it's just a bit of strapping. I mean, he's been pivotal so far. You know, he's been the effect that the Wills boys are having on the Bath breakdown. So if he can stay on and slow the ball down, and it's not just slowing the ball down or even getting a turnover. You know, you might not get that clean turnover, but it allows that half a second for your defensive line to be set and then build into the next phase. And that half a second can be the difference between a scraggy tackle or a double man tackle that knocks them back, and you get it the next phase. So hopefully he stays back up for Bath, because he's a big player for them so far.
And there's a Wasp player down as well, back on the 22 of Wasps. Can't quite see who that is because they're lying flat on their back.
I think that is that Francois Hugard potentially. I'm only guessing because I know he wears his socks down like that.
And he's playing on the wing tonight as well. Cloutey was back on his feet, started walking back to join his teammates. He's jogging now, but stops again to get a little bit, maybe more extra treatment there. You got Wasp player back on his feet now.
It doesn't look promising, that.
On his haunches, Cloutey.
He's trying his best to run it off, but sometimes there are injuries you just can't run off.
And they've got enough forwards on the bench, haven't they, Bath, for that 6-2 split, but they won't want to be going to the bench already. Cloutey doing trying to do a few shuttle runs,
yeah,
but doesn't get very far then, does he? Couldn't push off, and he's back on his haunches again, leaning over, hunched over. Now he'll be frustrated, won't he, having gone off early in the Bristol game if he isn't able, and it looks like Wasps might be forced into a change here as well.
It's not a bad replacement though, Josh Bayliss, is it?
Yep, it's Kibarigi, who's a very dangerous player, isn't he? Zach Kibarigi, and it is Hugard coming off, and it is unfortunately under Chris Cloutey's night as well. And Josh Bayliss is the man that will come on to replace Cloutey. Scotland international, of course, Bayliss, but Bath will be frustrated as Cloutey makes his way off, and he's not working particularly well, is he? He's got a bit of a limp there, and that will be frustrating for Johan van Graan to see his former Munster player as well, of course, limp off there. Josh Bayliss, a decent replacement to bring on though. Wasps get the game restarted. That pass looked forward as well from Wasps, but play goes on. maybe it was just flat more so than forward, and they come inside the Bath half. Here's Atkinson, good pass away to Umaga. That looked like that could have been forward as well, as the crowd are trying to let Wayne Barnes know, but play goes on. They're up to the 22 and it's stolen by Tom Dunn. Good play by the Bath captain. He's presented the ball well as well, and now Bath go inside to Dave Atwood, who spins out the tackle of Bialo and gets the ball presented for Schroeder. Schroeder wants to bring extra men in. Bayliss goes in. McNally wanted the ball. Schroeder puts up a kick which goes about 5 metres, doesn't even get out of the Bath half, and he's not had a good start, the scrum half for Bath this evening, with his kicking from hand. Wasps, though, fortunately for Bath, knock it on and they'll get a put into the scrum, but maybe another disappointing kick from the scrum half there, and it just shows how much they miss Ben Spencer, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's probably just a bit of adrenaline. You'd be frustrated that he's done it twice in the trot now, but he's a good enough player to resolve it. The breakdown didn't look the most secure, though, so maybe he was rushed to get it away. Bayliss sprinted in to do the best he could and was being under pressure. I think it's just important that sometimes you have to take your time. I know people get frustrated at how long they do set up those nines, but when the quality of kick makes such a difference. But they've been lucky enough to get the ball back now and they get another opportunity to exit or do a strike play. Yeah,
good turnover from Tom Dunn, wasn't it, there to get Bath into this position before that kick from Schroeder, who will feed this scrum now. And Schroeder just waits for the instruction from Wayne Barnes. The front row's yet to engage. Now here comes the contact. Schroeder runs to the back to try and pick up the ball at the base, at the feet of number 8, Richard de Carpentier. He's told to pick it up. The ball's gone loose, and we'll just have to reset that one. But Bath a little bit fortunate there, Matt, because it looked like Wayne Barnes had told him to get on with it.
It's one of those ones, it's the game of bluff, is that if the front row think you're going forward and he's saying use it, was like, well, do we force him into giving a penalty or force him into a reset? So it's a fine line you tread, but that perception that you give to the referee that, hang on a minute, that Bath has driven the bag, that that plant that seed for the next scrum and the next scrum and the next maul, even that there's a dominant pack. So Wasps will do their best here to come back as best they can, because they hopefully want to make Bath use it or get a turnover. Yeah,
that's the voice of Matt Garvey, the former Bath captain, alongside me, Dan Albert, at the recreation ground tonight. We've got 20 minutes to play in the first half, and the scoreboard reads 6-0 to the visitors Wasps this evening at the Rec. BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Radio Somerset and BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra. We get going now, second time lucky on the reset scrum. Again, the front rows have come up here, Wasps trying to disrupt things and have forced the turnover there and push forward into Bath half of the field, and then they've knocked it forward again, so it's back to where we were really. That was Willis, an unforced error there for Wasps, but Bath will be very frustrated to lose that one there. When they had the put into the scrum, they lose it against the head there, but they'll get another shot at it.
Yeah, it's exactly something you don't want to see, your own ball going against you. But Wasps, I said, after that first scrum, they were ready for that big push, and that's a great scrum from Wasps, to be fair. Bath will be frustrated. I'm sure there'll be something to be fixed and something we've spoken about at half time, but fortunately for Bath, there was a knock on the next phase and it allows them to go again. But this game, we said, is just going to be fine margins, just feeling each other out. It's a bit cagey for this first 20-25 minutes. I think it'll open up later, but at the moment they're just feeling each other out, and like I said, building that score like Wasps are doing so far could be pivotal. Yeah, and that's one thing they can't afford, Matt, isn't it, is those unforced errors. I mean, both teams are going to see it, but that losing against the head there, this type of thing, especially in your own half, is one thing that Bath cannot do tonight, especially when you're behind on the scoreboard. They'll be keen to do that. Schroeder wants the penalty and gets the penalty in the scrum penalty for Bath. The backs come in to congratulate the forwards, and Bath will have a chance to kick for territory here just inside. Bialo, the last man up for Wasps, looks at the referee, and it's always, you can tell the guilty party, can't you, the way they get up last. That whole game is no one's to blame. There's never anyone's fault. No one ever puts their hand up and goes, oh, yeah, my bad.
Yeah. And of course, let's not forget, nobody ever sets out deliberately to bring the scrum down, do they? It's just where you are at that time. It's a difficult art, isn't it, being in the front row in particular?
Exactly, somewhere that only a few people are made for. You have to be a special breed to be in the front row. Interesting what they do now, though. Give it a couple of mauls, see if they actually go back to the maul, they start to play off the top of it.
Yeah, and you sense that Bath need to make this count, don't they? Just outside of the 22, Tom Dunn will throw into the line out. And he's going to go to Miles Reid, who is trying to go to Miles Reid, but Wasps have got there first and disrupted it and won it themselves. And now Wasps are spreading the field a little bit out to the far side of the field, trying to break up. They're up to halfway, Wasps. Good break from Wasps after winning the turnover at the line out, crashing through the middle into Bath's half of the field now. It's with Launchbury. He goes to ground. back onto halfway, Wasps, and here comes Umaga, gets the pass away, trying to get Bassett involved. Bassett's going to run on the outside of Gallagher. Bassett's going to have to touch this one down, and he does. And Bath will be frustrated there because they had a chance to just deal with that. It looked like it was a kick through from Bassett, and as he put the kick through, it was a chance really for Bath to either shove it into touch, pick it up, or do something with it, but the banks went away. Bassett was the fastest to react. He touches down, and Wasps extend their lead, and Bath will be frustrated with that. It's Bath 0, Wasps 11.
Tough one, that. You've got an attacking line out on the Wasps 22, you lose your own line out, and next thing you know, you're under your stick. So I think the Bath boys will be now, look, let's just stay calm. The only reason they've scored that is because of our error. But as frustrating as it's your bread and butter stuff. You've had one scrum against you, you've lost. You've had a line out to the front, which you've lost. And it's turned out to be costly in a game like this. So I think there'll be a few words spoken about staying calm and composed, and just looking after the ball, looking after it themselves. And at the moment, Wasps are in it because of their errors. You had 2 penalties and lost the line out, so it's quite a crucial part of the game.
It looked like Bath had a chance to deal with that kick through, Matt, didn't it, really? Like they could have, maybe the banks took an awkward banks for Bath to deal with, but it looked like they could have maybe dealt with it as Umaga shoves the conversion attempt across the face of the post, so the scoreboard stays at 11-0 to Wasps, but it looked like Bath maybe had a chance to deal with that kick through from Bassett.
Yeah, it was quite tough. I mean, it doesn't help that the boys are out of position. The back line are set in an attack mode, and all of a sudden they've got to react. So they're in a different position they would be defensively. So it's just unfortunate. It's a great kick through, and you can't take it away from Wasps. What a great counter attack. They've taken the chance well, and they're now up 11-0. So fair play to Wasps.
Yeah. Well, Johan van Graan said before the game that a fast start was imperative because they haven't started fast in their games so far. But unfortunately, from a Bath point of view, they may have had a decent start on the pitch, but they didn't get any points, and now they find themselves 11 points behind as the restart goes into the 22. It's a good take from Wasps as well, because it was low down at the bootlaces. Did well to keep that in possession, Wasps. Now they work it back to get a clearance kick from Atkinson. It's going to go to Gallagher. Gallagher looks up, gets the pass inside to Orlando Bailey, who gets an extra metre on the crash forward. Wasps win the penalty there as well, though, and Bath will be more than frustrated there to concede a penalty inside their own half. And things going from bad to worse at the moment from Bath's point of view. Wasps have a penalty just inside the Bath half, leading by 11 points to 0.
I know it's such an obvious thing to say, but they've just got to back up good play, good moment with a good moment. At the moment they've got a good kick, it's a great take from Wasp, good tackle, okay. Then they allow the box kick, which is a good exit from Wasp, but the kick chase, the Wasp player Jack Willis beats the Bath boys back. He's there, the first one to make the tackle, and surprise he gets up, makes the jackal turnover, and you've gone from a kick-off in the half to now defending your own try line again.
The kick was a gem of a kick from Wasps as well, taking it 5 metres out. Some of the crowd thought it went dead in goal, but the touch judge disagrees and gives Wasps a pinpoint perfect kick for touch 5 metres out from the Bath try line here as they go for the juggler, leading 11 points to 0. And Bath cannot really afford to concede another try here, but it's going to be difficult to concede, not to concede from here. Wasps in the ascendancy. They take the line out throw by McDonald. McDonald presents it back as they work it back to Frost, the former Bath Academy product. The hooker has the ball in his possession and he's trying to direct traffic 6 metres out from the Bath try line. Wasps spin away a little bit. It's gone messy for them, and the ball is there for them to regather it though. Wasps keep possession. The ball went loose, but they're still piling forward here, Wasps. Closer to that line, a couple of metres away. Bialo has a carry taken to ground. Wasps though looking dangerous again, trying to get the momentum over the line. Are they over the line this time? Wayne Bynes is right there, very close, but not given on this time. We come back and there's going to be a penalty for Wasps. Looked like Wayne Bynes was considering going to the pocket then for a second. He hasn't, and we come back for the penalty there. It looked like Wasps may have got over then, but obviously didn't get the grounding. They come back for a penalty for Wasps, and Wasps just deciding what they want to do. Matt, here it's territory of going for a tap and go, isn't it? You would look at it, the way they're shaped up, looks like that's something that they're thinking about. They're going to go for goals. It's
a clever thing. Look, it's that real battle with your adrenaline and your emotions. You know, you're in a fuel contest. you know, your emotions are up. You're 2 metres away from the try line. The ref gives you a penalty. You want to go again as a forwards, but then, you know, you've got great operators that have been around the game for a long time. Jared Ormsby points at the point sequence to build a score, but it looks like something's happened now.
Well, Wayne Barnes has just decided to go and have a look. Is he looking to see if the ball was grounded by Willis as he got over the line there? Maybe that's what
they were having a chat with a few of the Wasps players, so maybe they are looking. We'll see now, I guess, on the big screen.
Well, the picture's on the big screen here. It's going to have to be clear, isn't it, considering finding the ball, locating the ball. Wayne Barnes right in front of the big screen, having a close look.
And that is close.
To get a clear sight of the ball there, so that you can see the ball there. And it looks like it's going. What's Wayne Barnes going to decide to do? He's running back towards, he's going to give the try, isn't he? So Wasps were convinced they were over. Wayne Barnes has a look via the TMO, and it's Jack Willis, the England man, that gets the try, and Wasps extend their lead further. 16 points to 0 they lead Bath at the recreation ground. Umaga has a conversion, 2 tries for Wasps, and a chance to extend their lead here, and it looked close, like he was up to the line, didn't it? Wayne Barnes didn't think so at the time, but TMO says yes.
It's a tough start, this, isn't it, for Bath, for a Bath supporter. 16-0 down at home. I'm hoping that they make it a bit more of a close contest now. Has he got the conversion there from Umaga? So now it goes to 18-0.
Looked like he did his best to try and miss that one, but it goes through.
I was wondering, as frustrating as it is, Bath just needs to stay composed. At the moment, they looked good at one period. They was putting some phases together, they had some quick ball, they looked threatening, but they haven't looked like that since. They need to make sure this exit is clear. Let them take one Wasp, force the kick back, and then have another strike play.
Yeah, and with Bath, unfortunately, we've been here before, haven't we, in the last season and the start of this season with what happened last week against Sale. So the next points in this one, Bath cannot afford to go further behind. 18 points to 0, they trail Wasps at the Rec. And not been a good start from Bath at all. Matt Gallagher takes the high kick forward, but he's driven backwards inside the 10-metre line in Bath's half of the field, and Wasps trying to counter ruck, and they may well have turned the ball over again here. Good play from Wasps, they have, and Bath's errors are creeping up a bit now as they're forced to turn over. Here goes Tom Willis carrying forward, shrugging off tacklers as he goes. He's finally taken to ground by Lewis Boyce. But Wasps have possession again in a dangerous position. Middle of the park, just inside the 10-metre line. Right in the middle of the field. Bring Odendahl, the South African crash runner. And he powers forward. And Wasps have their tails up a bit, don't they? A bit like they started the game against Gloucester in the opening week of competition, that first half where they were outstanding, of course, and then let things slip. And Wasps threatening again here as they get the ball way outside. It goes to Umaga now inside. That's great offload, and Porter's going to go in under the sticks for Wasps. Their third try. What a great offload that was. Inside from Odendahl, and then he goes under the post. Porter, the scrum half. Try number 3 for Wasps, and it goes from bad to worse for Bath. We've got 10 minutes to play in the first half. It's Bath 0, Wasps 23.
Soon to be 25 by the looks of things. Exactly what I just spoke about. You kick off, the ball goes deep, set up and allow them to kick back. Get in your pocket, allow Matt Gallagher to get a clean catch, and then go again. But what happens is massive counter ruck. Wasps get the ball. Bath are caught napping in that transition period between attack and defence. And credit to Wasps. What a great try. Some great handling there. Dan Frost gets the offload in the contact, and then some slick moves from the back. A little flick out the back, and they're under the stick. So as bad as Bath have been, Wasps have taken their chances extremely well, and you have to give them full credit for that. Yeah,
and the conversion does go through right in front of the post, so no doubt that was going to go through. 9.5 minutes to go until half time, and the Bath fans will be wondering what's going on as the scoreboard reads Bath Rugby 0, Wasps 25 as Umaga adds the extra 2. And Bath now in a massive hole, aren't they, here? I mean, they found themselves in a hole last week against Sale when Sale had a man sent off early. This is about character now, isn't it, really? And in this final 9 minutes and a half of the first half, they've got to get something to give themselves a lift.
You need some points. We've already seen this Wasps this season. Really did well against Gloucester in the first half. Gloucester did an amazing comeback and ended up winning the game. So we know there is a chance. We're in the first half. We're not talking about this game being gone by any chance, but Bath need to get composed there. They need to put some phases together, collect this kick back, put some pressure back on Wasps and turn the tide.
Gallagher again under the ball. Again, he's under immense kind of pressure from Wasps chasing players, and a penalty for Wasps. Again there from Bath, and the frustration beginning to show on Bath's players as well. Will Stewart, they're not impressed. And Wasps win a penalty just inside of Bath's half here, and this again now a decision for them to kick for the corner and go for the jugular. Of course they're looking for their fourth try, which would give them a bonus point already.
Again,
yeah,
keep talking about the same message. I'm sorry to the listeners. As frustrating as that is for Bath, you have to credit people like Jack Wills. You know, Bath know what's coming, and yet he still manages to get the tackle and the turnover. So, you know, I'm not sure it won't be long before he's back in a white jersey.
Those the Bath players look a little bit shell-shocked, don't they, down there at the moment? They're looking around at each other just to try and get a lift and a little bit of motivation maybe from somewhere, anywhere. But it's just not coming.
You can't wait for someone external to do it. You've got to look within yourself to be that spark, and you know you've got to win your bread and butter when that is, you know, your breakdown.
Wasps go to the back. Josh Bayliss tried to disrupt that one, couldn't. Wasps win it. It's with Willis breaking away at the back. He's knocked that one on. They had a lot of knock-ons against Bristol last week. They've been better with ball control tonight and quite ruthless with the ball in hand, have Wasps, but Bath forced the turnover that time, and now they get the penalty.
He's got quite a serious injury here to Dan Frost. He looks in quite a lot of pain, to be fair.
Yeah, he's rolling around in all kinds of pain there. He's got his forearm across his face now as well. He's got two medics around him already.
Looks like his ankle.
Never like to see a player go down, and when they're clearly in distress like that, it's never good to see.
No, especially, you know, so when you're fueled with emotions and you're fueled with adrenaline and testosterone, when you see a player go down like that, it's never nice. Yeah, I've done my ankle in a very similar position on the pitch, so I feel for him. I really hope it's not as bad as it is.
7.5 minutes to play in the first half, and Wasps have really grabbed this game by the horns. They're leading by 25 points to 0 at the Rec over Bath Rugby.
It's an opportunity now for Bath, okay, to get the leaders in, to calm down, take a minute. You're under no pressure now from the refs. The time's off. There's an opportunity here to kind of regain some control. You know, they're going to have to make a substitution. Wasps going to get cold. The momentum they're on is almost dying out now because there's a natural break in the game. So Bath have now got a chance to get a good exit, get a good line, get a good start to play, and put the pressure back on Wasps. Yeah, and it's step by step, Matt, isn't it? Really, it's one thing at a time. So first thing, establish yourself, get some points, and just build it from there. Really, you never know. As you say, Gloucester did it in the first week of the season, so they'll take inspiration from that, and they have to take inspiration from that because you can't let your head drop. No, exactly. And like I said, there'll be players in there, and from Bath point of view, there'll be players in there that played last season and didn't go to plan, results didn't go to plan, you know, and there'll be players from different environments, and those players from different environments have a different perspective on things now. They'll be like, okay lads, 25-0 down, the game's not over, we're still in the first half, we get a try now, you know, we get it back, we get 10 points, we get 3 points, 7 points, whatever, we get something on the board, we build a bit of momentum, we start putting pressure on. They've lost a hooker, you know, there's a few sore bodies already to start to build and build and build. So I'm really hoping Dan Frost is okay. But from a Bath point of view, I think they'll be counting this as a lucky break, a bit of a blessing that they can hopefully regain some control and get a foothold back in this game to make it more of a contest. Yeah, he's still receiving treatment at the moment, lying on his back there. Dan Frost, who of course is a former product of the Bath Academy, so he'll be replaced by another player from a Bath Academy.
Yep, in Gabriel Ogre, who's already on the field, just talking to his teammates.
A previous Bath player I see carrying water for Wasps, Elliot Stook, a fan favourite. I see him with his orange bib on.
Oh yeah, he's over the far side. I'm sure he's enjoying things at the moment, certainly with the scoreboard as it reads 25-0 to Wasps with 7.5 minutes to play in the first half at the recreation ground.
It's good to see Dan Frost back on one foot but standing up and limping.
Yeah, he's getting the help off there, but considering how he was a moment ago, didn't think he'd be able to walk off like that. It looked like you might have to get the stretcher on for him, but at least he is walking off, albeit with support, arm around a medic either side, makes his way off.
That's good news.
And Ogre takes his place against his first club. And we will start with a penalty for Bath. Orlando Bailey has the ball in his hands, deep inside their own half, and Bath need something to build on. They need a spark, and Orlando Bailey's penalty takes play up to where's the touch judge going to stop. Doesn't give Bath a particularly good spot there, doesn't get up to the 10-metre line. Anthony Woodthorpe, the touch judge on this near side of the field. That's taken by Dave Atwood, the line out. Tom Dunn runs back round to join. Bath need this to work because it's been a bit messy for them in all phases, really, hasn't it, since a promising start when they had some momentum. Now they get a surge and win another penalty, and they get expansive. Schroeder gets a pass away to Orlando Bailey, tries to go through, gets a pass away to Miles Reid. Miles Reid suddenly up outside of the 10-metre line in Bath's half of the field. Pass goes to Jonathan Joseph. Long pass out to Will Muir. Will Muir, a chance to stretch his legs. He's got one man to beat Will Muir. He's taken the ground by that man. But Bath makes some good ground. Back it comes this side of the field now. Bath bringing in the forwards to drive forward. Miles Reid is in there. Schroeder back inside to Bailey. Bailey gets the pass up, but no real ground to make for Bath on that carry. So they have to recycle again. Kick through this time. That's not the right idea. Wasps bobbled the kick, but then keep possession. And Bath, all they've done there is kick possession away in a promising part of the field. And Wasps will have a chance to clear their lines again, right on their own 22. You can see what maybe the thought process was in the kick, but it was lacking on the execution side of thing. With the chase wasn't really there for Bath, and it was not going to work for them there as Wasps take it, albeit on the bobble. And now Porter, who scored their latest try, gets the clearance kick to touch, and we're going to have to start again from Bath with a line out. 5 minutes 42 seconds to play in the first half. Bath have a line out just inside the Wasps' half.
Great play there from Bath, great run from Will Muir. It wasn't like he could have gone the whole way. A bit frustrating, I think, from Orlando Bailey there. I get why he was doing it, because there's space in the backfield, but at the same point you've been defending for the last 20 minutes. You know, you've just got a bit of momentum, hold on to the ball, put some pressure on Wasps, really test them, and instead they give them a way out.
It was nice to see Will Muir get that bit of space when he put the kick through, and we know how good he is at a run chasing. The line out goes to McNally. McNally works the ball back to Tom Dunn. Dunn lets the ball go forward. It's Bath get the surge. They got another penalty coming from Wayne Barnes here inside of the half of Wasps. Jonathan Joseph gets a pass away. Bailey goes through the middle. Can he get away? Good offload from Bailey, and now Bath have got a chance to get in the corner. Bath are going to get a try. That's what they needed. Bath over in the corner, and it's Mac Gallagher, the fullback, that's got it for Bath. His home debut. He gets a try. It's what Bath needed. Can that be the spark of a comeback? Bath get the try they needed. It's Bath 5, Wasp 25.
Exactly. Again, listen, you get the maul. They got a penalty on the last one. They played the advantage. Almost got away with it. Another maul set up, penalty advantage, and they've exploded Wasps. But a positive from Bath is they are finding gaps. They've got a bit of a maul ascendancy now. They're getting a bit of advantage from Wayne Barnes. They are starting to get a foothold again. There is a long way to go, don't get me wrong, but they have shown in moments that they can do things like that. So that's a great score. And that goes back to what I was saying, that unfortunately for Wasps, they get a bit of an injury, it slows play, and it kills all of Wasps' momentum. You know, this arm wrestle is going to go back and forth till 80 minutes. Bath then get the opportunity to calm down, reassess, regather, rethink about their plan, and next thing you know, they've just got to try.
Yeah, and it also goes back to what you were saying about Orlando Bailey a moment ago when he put the kick. You said should keep it in the hands and run. That time he did. He put his head down and run through the middle, and that set up the pass away, puts Gallagher over far side of the field. So a tricky conversion for Orlando Bailey. But from
a Bath point of view, even if the kick doesn't go over, you've exposed the hole, you've seen a weakness, you've seen there's opportunity. So at half time, when I'm sure they're getting a few stern words from the coaches and from teammates, from their own people on the pitch, you know, they'll be like, look, okay, but there is a way back. There is a way back. We have exposed a few times down the blind side, through the middle, on the turnovers, which we need to look after the ball.
Great conversion from Orlando Bailey as well from the far side of the field, goes through to make it 7 points to Bath. It's Bath 7, Wasps 25. And as you were saying, Matt, as well, because Wasps have been there before when they conceded a big lead against Gloucester, maybe that try can make them think, here we go again.
Exactly, so the next play is massive now, because if Bath stay on top, that doubt creeps in, like Bath has done for the first 35 minutes. Now's an opportunity to get another 3 points or something like that to build some more momentum.
got to take this one, haven't they? It's got to be a complete restart. It goes to Richard de Carpentier, takes it well, and then runs back at place, but Wasps are there pretty quickly to disrupt any momentum he may have had, and he has to go to ground on the 22. Bath need to be careful where they've conceded a penalty, and that's exactly what they couldn't do. Wasps a chance to grab the momentum back here. Very kickable penalty for them. Frustration for Bath there, and it shows Johan van Graan on the big screen there looking nonplussed.
That's I don't really know what to say now. Exactly what you don't want to happen. You know, you've just worked hard, you've got a glimmer of hope that you're back in the game, and there he is again, Jack Wills. You know, surely you've got to be looking now, he's the threat. If he gets another jackal, you know, there's got to be another clearance, a two-man clearance aiming for him. You've almost got to target him. Either make him make the tackle, so you run at him, so then he can't jackal. But he's a nuisance, and he credit to him, he's an exceptional player.
And Eddie Jones is here tonight, trying to hide away under a Bath rugby cap, but he is here sat in front of the coach's box watching, and the Willis brothers, both of them no doubt be players that he's watching.
He's probably seen enough of one already.
Absolutely, yes. The penalty from Wasps goes through from Umaga, and just what Bath couldn't see, they get that try themselves, they can see the penalty, and Wasps extend their lead. It's Bath Rugby 7, Wasps 28, as we've got 1 minute 20 until half time. 28-7, not a scoreline that Bath would have wanted to see at any point on the scoreboard, much less in the first half of 1 minute to go. They're going to have to restart as well, and just make sure that they don't do anything silly here, and if they can get some points in the process and force a turnover deep on that restart, then fantastic, but just don't let Wasps hurt you any more from this part on the field. Porter was going to kick long. It's a good kick from Porter as well, the scrum half. Going to land on the Bath 10-metre line, taken by Gallagher, dances around, gets up to the halfway line. Wayne Barnes looked like he was going to whistle then, blow his whistle, but he didn't. Put it back down, and Bath crashed forward through Tom Dunn. He offloads, it's a loose pass, and Tom Dunn, and now what's Wayne Barnes doing there? He signalled a knock-on by Bath right on the halfway.
Yeah, gone back for the knock-on. I thought Bath got away with it then for a minute. But yeah, I was just watching the Bath coaches leaving the box to get down ready for the half-time. There was not many happy faces then. I think there was a few things said from supporters that didn't make it any easier. It's a tough place to be at. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few changes.
Now Johan van Graan making his way straight down the tunnel. He's off walking. Bath used to do that last season. The conflab of the coaches, didn't they? Had the huddle before they walked off. None of that anymore under Johan van Graan. He's straight down the tunnel. And the clock's in the red now, so Wasps, although this position in the field, Matt, they might fancy the way they've been playing, they might fancy another attack here.
You just don't know, you know, there's that balance. Do we kick it off with 28-7? Let's go in, let's not risk anything. But the way they're going at the moment, they're exposing there's a penalty.
On a penalty, so they'll definitely go for it now. That's not what Bath needed at all. And there's a bit of pushing and shoving going on there as well. Looks like every player's going to run in here. Couldn't quite see who started that, but Wayne Barnes right in position there. Anthony Woodthorpe's got a good view of everything as well. The touch judge this near side just stands with his arms folded, looking across. If anything happens, he's going to know who the culprits will be, and we'll relay it to Wayne Barnes. But interesting to see if Wayne Barnes does anything about that, if he reverses any penalty, if there was any infringements there. Doesn't look like he's got any intention of doing any of that, so we'll just go back to what we had before, which is a penalty for Wasps.
That's just pure frustration from Bath, that is. You know, they've given a penalty away. It's almost the fear of, don't be the next one to give away the points, don't be the next one to give away the penalty, and something happens and you're emotionally charged. You know it's half time, you know that you're probably going to get a few stern words said to you. It's almost like a defence mechanism, just show some emotion. It's a tough one for me this half. You know, there's been some moments of magic from Wasps which you can't deny. There's been some exceptional work in the breakdown from their back row, some great offloads. I can't help but feel it's been made all too easy for them.
Yeah, and compounded here because Wasps have decided just inside the Bath half that Jacob Umaga is going to kick for goal as well, with the last kick of the first half, and Wasps already leading 28-7. Here comes the kick from Umaga. He's got a lot of distance here. Has he got the accuracy? He has. That's a gem of a kick from Umaga. Long range kick, and it never looked in doubt really. Plenty of distance, and for Bath the first half to forget really, as that makes the score 31-7. A half to forget from Bath's point of view. They got to try to give them some momentum, but they conceded 2 penalties since then. and it's all Wasps in the first half. They've got 3 tries, and they've got Jacob Umango in fine form. That's that one over the half-time score, 31-7, Matt, and Bath a long way back from here.
A long way back. I'm not really sure what the fix is, because for me there's a lot of mental side to the game here. You know, there's moments of brilliance and there's moments of poor decision making. I mean, how many times did Jack Wills have to get a turnover before someone, it's almost like a man marking. You watch him go to the breakdown, I'm going to beat him to it, I can't let him in. It's almost like a macho contest, a man on man, a testosterone filled battle where, I'm not going to let him out. He's ruining the game for us, he's killing it for us, and he's been exceptional. But Bath have to look at their own basics, their exits. When Wasps exit, their ability to go again, their set piece, they lose a line out, their scrum, their discipline, everything that your game is built on, these foundations, hasn't been to the level that they've spoken about, and that's extremely frustrating. But there are things there, no matter the number of them, that can be fixed quite quickly.
It's certainly been a game where anything that can go wrong has gone wrong from a Bath point of view. Just looking around to our right hand side, a couple of non-involved players tonight, Tom de Glanville, Mike Williams, and they look very glum, don't they? As well they might, because the half-time score is not good reading for Bath Rugby. Half-time score at the Recreation Ground is Bath Rugby 7, Wasps 31.
BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset.
Tomorrow we continue our sporting weekend. There's more live rugby as the Bristol Bears take on London Irish at the gate.
Great try for Bristol for nothing, and it's that man, the Scotland international, Magnus Bradbury.
Plus in League One, Rovers face Accrington at the Met.
And it's Thomas on his debut to poke it home.
And Boreham Wood visit Hewish Park in the National League.
Jimmy Torre opens the scoring on just 4 minutes.
Join me, Jeff Twentyman, and the team tomorrow from 2.
BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset.
The Friday match.
BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset.
Back for second half commentary at the Rec with Dan and Matt. It's Bath 7, Wasps 31 at half time. Josh Bassett, Jack Willis and Will Porter for the visitors. Matt Gallagher pulling a try back for Bath. But a lot of work to do for Johan van Graan's side if they're to avoid a third straight defeat at the start of the season. Earlier today, Harry Brooks smashed an unbeaten 81 from just 35 balls to help England go 2-1 up in the 2020 series against Pakistan. It turned out to be a comfortable 63-run win in Karachi. In the county championship today, Somerset have guaranteed their Division 1 survival with a 352-run county championship win over Northamptonshire at Taunton. Somerset took 22 points from the game to move into 6th place in the table. Director of Cricket Andy Hurry hopes they're in a much better position in 12 months' time.
Is it a successful season? No. Success for us is winning. But there have been some successes within the season. And, rightfully so. After our start we had earlier on in the season, we faced a number of challenges. And some of the successes have been built up slowly, layer by layer, and those layers have been quite small to start off with. But I think it's fair to say, in recent championship rounds of cricket, from a batting perspective, we've really started now to galvanise a way of playing, and I've been really encouraged by the performances that we've been putting on the board and putting the opposition under pressure. So there's a success. There's some success with some of the younger guys coming through. James Rue he's broke his way into the first team, and that's really exciting for the club moving forward. Casey Aldridge is another one. Some real exciting young talent, and there's more in the pathway. There's going to be competing for places moving forward, so that's really exciting, and that's success as well. The reality is that we got ourselves in a position where we want to try and get ourselves as high in the table, because we knew we couldn't win, but we want to win. And I think moving forward, we want to finish the season strong, take that momentum into the winter, make sure we're rebuilding and put ourselves in a really strong position to compete and win the championship, as well as other competitions in 2023.
There's football tonight. England playing Italy in the Nations League, knowing that a defeat would relegate them to League B. It's half-time. Commentary with Matt Upson and John Murray.
And it's 0-0 at half-time, and I think it deserves to be, Matt Upson.
Yeah, not quite the game I was picturing, or I remember saying to you when I saw the team lines up, I'm looking forward to this game. This could be one of those real high-quality matches. Well, it hasn't been that And I think both teams, you can't lack the willingness and almost like the endeavour that they're showing to want to be sharp, to want to be on the front foot, but that just hasn't been matched by the quality with the ball, whether it's nerves, whether it's a little bit of lack of confidence in the system or with each other, who knows, but it's not quite delivering what it should do at this stage at half-time.
No, it is not, and I think really it can only improve. First half, a very few chances, and here in Milan at the break, it is Italy 0, England 0.
Locally, there's an FA Vase game taking place tonight. Half-time, it's Cribs 2, Portishead Town 0. And in basketball, the Bristol Flyers are hosting Manchester Giants in their first BBL Championship fixture of the new season this evening. The game tipped off at 7:30. They're just into the second half, and Bristol are trailing at the moment. It's Bristol Flyers 37, Manchester Giants 42. Latest score this evening. At the Recreation Ground, it's at half-time. It's Wasps leading by 31 points to 7. Matt Gallagher with the Bath try, but only after Josh Bassett, Jack Willis and Will Porter had scored for the visitors. Second half commentary coming up on BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Radio Somerset, and we're also enjoying the company of BBC 5 Live Sports Extra this evening on this Friday night. While we wait for the teams to come out for the second half, I had a chance to meet Bath's versatile fly half Piers Francis recently. He spoke to me ahead of the home game with Sale last week. We talked about his summer training programme, his England aspirations, and how the summer signing's settling in at the Rec.
The club's been great. The lads have been really good. The staff and the coaches have been very welcoming. So it's to be honest, it's been a very sort of easy transition for me and the family, which is great. Which is big for. I've spent a fair few years at a different club, and so coming to a new club, which and such a big club like Bath, it's been really good, and it helps. It helps me settle in and try and get the best out of myself. As soon as I can feel comfortable and gain the respect, which I've still got to get, but gain the respect from the club and from the players and the staff and the fans, and then hopefully my game will flourish even more from there.
And I was very interested to read how you spend your summers, not on the beach, but you go to America. How long have you been doing that, just to work on your fitness?
It's something I'm a bit, I don't know how you call it, but I'm interested in, my body and playing pro sport is imperative. So me and the family, we like America. There's some good resources out there, and I've got to know some really good coaches out there to work on stuff in the off season. I find it's a great opportunity for pro sportsmen in general to try and we can be a bit more detailed on and work on specific stuff, and sometimes it's not hugely rugby hugely related to rugby and with a rugby ball, but it's about different types of fitness and different types of sort of kicking and all that sort of stuff. So it's a great time for me and the family to sort of part holiday, but part sort of get some work done, and that satisfies me, and it means I can sleep better at night and know that I'm prepared. But particularly for me, going into a new club this season, that was big, to make sure that I came in good shape and mentally and physically. So it's good for me and enjoy it. So
tell me if I'm getting ahead of myself, but do you still harbour aspirations to play for England again?
100%. Yeah, I'm an Englishman. I'm playing in the Premiership, and the English Premiership of that, and I'd love to be back in the England environment. It's a fantastic environment. I'm all about high performance. I think it's a real high performance setup, and those are the places you want to be as an English rugby player. I've had a taste of it, and I'd love another taste of it, if I'm honest. So, but that's sort of out of my hands. I can only do what I can, and my focus is on Bath. But definitely, I'm not going to shy away from. I'd love to put that jersey on again.
Enjoy the company of Piers Francis recently, and Bath's summer signing, hoping maybe to make an impression if he comes on in the second half. Bath trailing at half-time against Wasps. Second half coming up shortly here on the Friday match, where it's Bath 7, Wasps 31 at half-time. While we wait for the teams to come out, let's hear from the Bristol Bears owner Steve Lansdown on the financial crisis that Premiership clubs are facing. He says Premiership Rugby must do more to increase revenues to help financially struggling clubs. Wasps gave notice on Wednesday that they intend to appoint administrators. Meanwhile, Worcester have until Monday to prove they can keep going.
Well, COVID has obviously been a major factor in recent times, exacerbated the problem probably. There's just not enough money in the game is the answer. all clubs get their revenue mainly through ticket sales, central revenue and commercial revenue. Central revenue has been on a decline in recent years because of COVID and lack of playing. Matchday revenue obviously dropped off a cliff with COVID. Commercial revenue hasn't picked up. I mean, we have the deal with CVC, but to date that's been, to be honest, a little bit disappointing, but hopefully we'll see that improve in the future.
So the key question then, Stephen, is whether the Premiership and its clubs are now in a fight for survival.
Well, they are. I think, like a lot of businesses across the UK and across the world, probably after the pandemic. But rugby is in a way its own worst enemy. It's a fabulous game. It attracts a great spectators, great fans. But it's a question of getting the revenue into the business. So for people to invest into it, it's a passion. It's it's not one you can point to and say, well, you invest and you can make a return on your money. So you have to go in with your eyes open. It's going to be a bit of a black hole for a time. That's the difficulty.
Well, you have a debt, of course, at Bristol, don't you? It's over £50 million, as I understand it. The second highest in the Premiership, though less than half of Wasps' eye-watering £112 million. Do you plan to clear your debt? And if so, how?
Well, of course, the real difference is that debt is to me personally. So it's in my hands what happens to it.
And you're a wealthy man, Stephen, so are you going to clear it?
Well, I've done the same with the football club. So, the record speaks for itself. But look, that money is invested in the club to get it where it is, to get the infrastructure in place, to get the high-performance centre in place, to build a team that can compete at the highest level. We have a plan to decrease the amount of contributions that I have to make over the years ahead in order for the club to become sustainable going forward.
And more generally, what about more assistance and tolerance from the Rugby Football Union, or even money from the government?
Well, I think the thing is that we had the funding for through the pandemic, but of course it's in the form of loans. So that's one of the problems that say Worcester is really faced with, is that but when you borrow money, you do have to have the ability to repay it, or have or the ability to know it's going to be removed or converted into equity. So in reality. If the funding is free, then obviously it's more than welcome. But that's the problem. You shouldn't expect anything for nothing in this life. So, reality is that what the PRL need to do is to really focus on commercial revenue or generating new revenue, and improving the offering that we get out there, so to attract other investors into the sport.
The Friday Match.
BBC Radio Bristol and BBC Radio Somerset.
Coming up now on BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Radio Somerset, and on BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra as well. The second half from the Rec, where Bath have a lot of work to do if they're to avoid a third straight defeat at the start of the new Premiership season. Bath 7, Wasps 31 is the half-time score. Let's rejoin your commentary team this evening, the former Bath captain Matt Garvey and Dan Albert.
Good time, Richard. Tom Dunn leads Bath Rugby back out onto the field. The long road back, or hopeful long road back, starts here for Bath, but it is a very long way back from here, trading 31 points to 7 at home to Wasps at the break. Matt Garvey, you usually say, what can they do different? How can they get back into this? From Bath's point of view, though, they just have to change everything, don't they?
I just think they need to hold on to the ball. At the moment they're giving Wasps way too much. Like I said, it's hard to say there was moments of it when they conceded 31 points in 40 minutes, but there were moments where they did look dangerous. Okay, and they're the moments they've got to hold on to. They're the moments they've got to grasp and ask themselves, how did we manage to look dangerous? What did we do differently that we didn't do the other times? And that's they built phase. They put pressure on Wasps, and when they put pressure on Wasps, they had opportunities. They didn't always score, or they might have dropped the ball at the wrong time, but they had opportunities. They created a window where they could score some points. But they've got to shut Wasps out completely here. They can't concede any more points in this half.
No, the first points have to be Bath, don't they? In this one, if there is to be any hope of getting back into this one. It is a long way back from here, though, of course, with the scoreboard as it is. Wasps will kick off the second half. Wayne Barnes is in place. I think they just playing a little bit of catch at the moment. Jacob Umaga has the ball in his hands. Wayne Barnes waiting for the signal from the sidelines to get the second half underway. Wasps with their tails up. Big lead for them in their home colours of black and gold, and a 31 points to 7 lead over the blue, black and white of Bath. Wasps going from left to right. They're going to the sports centre. Bath are going towards the clubhouse, which is where they want to go, and they need to make that count, Matt. That needs to be something that they all those superstitions, they need to make them count.
I think for me now, it's just, it may sound negative, but catch your restart, have a clean exit. Even though you're kicking the ball back, 2 aspects, you back to back, you worked up good work, then you can start defending, but you need to get these efforts back on the go.
Yeah, we are back underway. The restart for the second half taken by Bath inside their own 22. Wasps putting Bath under pressure immediately, but Bath are able to get the ball recycled and have a chance to get a clearance kick should they decide to. Schroeder, the scrum half. Here comes the kick from him, and it's a kick that doesn't get much distance, goes into touch, but he didn't barely get it out of the 22, and it's fair. He's not had the best of nights, has he, the scrum half tonight?
No, I mean, but the other players can recognise that. So can you exit off 10? You know, can you go one more phase and allow Orlando Bailey, or can you go one pass and allow Jonathan Joseph or Maxi Joma to kick another a bit wider out? You know, help him out of that, give him a bit of a confidence booster.
Yeah, because you are immediately under pressure. Line out for Wasps. And they're approaching that 22 of Bath again now, pushing forward on the far side of the field as we look at it. Wasps looking to keep the momentum. Now they are inside the 22. Bath take them to ground. Porter wants the ball. Wayne Barnes has a look and puts his arm out behind him, but arm's gone back down again now, so he's happy for play to go on. The ball lost. Now Wayne Barnes has given a penalty to Wasps, which the crowd don't like on the far side. Now he's reversed it.
He's given a yellow
card
to Louis Schroeder.
Well, Schroeder, yeah, he come in off the far side of the field, didn't he? Got himself into a bad position, and yeah, Schroeder, well, not been a game for him to remember. First start for Bath, former Newcastle player, of course. We've got Max Green on the bench, and we're a little bit surprised, maybe, a deliberate knock-on is what they're calling there, isn't it, looking on the big screen there. And yeah, we're surprised in a way that Max Green didn't come on at half-time.
Yeah, I thought there'd be a few changes, not just at 9. I thought in other areas of the pitch, I thought you'd be looking for a bit of a change of momentum, but you know, this is a chance now for the Bath leaders. You know, you've had a big chat, you said what you're going to do, and in the first instance you get a yellow card, not what you spoke about. So now you've got to rally your troops, you've got to defend this and get at the right end of the pitch.
But what's the mood they've been in here will be sensing a 4th try bonus point, won't they, as they take the line out cleanly. Bath have got to push them back a little bit here from that initial surge there, but Wasps will go around the narrow side and get themselves 5 metres out from the Bath try line, put the ball up inside again here. Wasps are up pretty much to that try line. Can they get over the line? Not quite. Wayne Barnes is having a look, and he's given Bath a penalty. Bath, great defence for them in the end. Wasps looked for all the money in the world. They were going to push over the momentum they had, but Bath disrupting them enough. Wasps infringe, and Bath get a clearance penalty right on their own try line. And they'll be relieved by that. They're just what they needed with 14 men for the next 10 minutes.
Clever from Wasps. They've gone straight down the blind side where the 9 would be standing. He's no longer there. But again, a great play from Bath. They've got the turnover, they've got the defence, they've now got a free exit. Get the line out. Now again, now you've got to do something else positive. Back that positive up with another positive moment. So now you're probably going to exit again. So when you line out, get your platform, allow your 10 to kick now because your 9's obviously been sin bin, or do you more for the penalty to try and get the free? But whatever you do, it has to be a positive outcome. You can't allow Wasps with a numerical advantage to get another foothold.
Yeah, it will be just about, still inside their own 22 there. Loose ball as well, but Bath are able to pick it up through Richard de Carpentier. But they are inside their own 22 now, so they need a clean ball. They didn't get it. They do have ball. That's another loose pass, and Bath playing with danger a little bit down there. Was it from Wayne Barnes there? He finally decides to blow on the whistle there as Bath try to get expansive with the crossfield kick. Wayne Barnes has already called play back as the kick went to Will Muir. Took that crossfield kick expertly, didn't he?
Amazing kick, yeah. I think Rich de Carpentier is down injured, unfortunately. He's a player that gives his heart and soul. He's actually been one of Bath's best players the last couple of games. If there has been the one positive, it's probably with Rich. So hopefully he's okay. Medics are at the moment. It's always hard to tell because of the precautions they have to go through to make sure that he's okay.
And one of those players that made the most of his opportunity initially, coming here on a short-term contract, made the most of that, didn't he? Former Leicester man, and earned a longer-term deal, and with some impressive performances really. And he'll be disappointed there. A rare chance for him to start, and Bath already sending on a replacement to the field. It's J. Van Velze just going through some extra stretches, orange boots for him.
So there's possibly either a head injury or a concussion that's ruled him out straight away if GJ's been called in. Which is a good sign. He's a good operator, experienced operator, and he'll, someone I think excuse me if I'm wrong, I think he did captain for Worcester and maybe in Northampton a few times. So someone who's got experience in these situations, someone who knows how to handle the troops, who can help rally, and a senior player there, someone with an older head who's been around for a long time, might be just what they need to keep that composure. Like I said, so they've got is it a penalty again now to Bath? Is that right?
Yeah.
So another exit opportunity to get some yards up the field for free, and then get a strike move. But I said it's all about this arm wrestle. Bath have got to stay in this arm wrestle. They can't keep giving up free moments to Wasps. But they almost then, for instance, the exit, they threw a loose pass, could easily been gathered up by Wasps. Luckily Bath regathered it and they got an opportunity again, but that's the moment, those 50-50s you can't afford to give away.
Yeah, we've been playing just under 5 minutes, or just under 5.5 minutes of the second half at the recreation ground. Scoreboard still reads as it did at half-time. Bath Rugby 7, Wasps 31. You're missing none of the action. Richard de Carpentier still down receiving treatment. I just wonder, Matt, if part of the reason why they didn't bring Max Green on at half-time is because of the 6-2 split. They didn't want to go to that change too soon in case there's injuries or anything like that. Would that be a factor at all?
Potentially, or maybe they were just giving it 5 more minutes. You never know. There's been times when players get brought off at 45 minutes, 42 minutes. Just give another go, give them another opportunity. But I'm not too sure. I'm not even going to guess at decisions. Maybe he was doing other aspects right. Maybe he was a senior player with a young 10 outside him and a young 12. Maybe he was doing something we weren't seeing from up here. But a 6-2 split is for a reason. The coaches have done that in the week. They know they did that last week. I'm not sure if they did against Bristol as well. If they continued that all through the season.
They did do that at Bristol, yeah.
So there's obviously decision making behind that. Obviously Ben Spencer is a big loss because of, again, talk about experience and moments and the skill level he brings. But Louis, he isn't a bad player, just he's had a bad few moments. He's not a bad player. But I'm just focusing on Rich here. Hopefully Rich is up all right. He's standing, which is good.
He helped off the field.
Good clap from good applause from the crowd as well. So a man that gives his all, someone like, obviously not been around as long, Tom, done in the blue, black and white, but somebody who gives his all for the jersey, and you have to commend that.
Yeah, the other thing with Ben Spencer, when you miss a player like that, it could be a case of you don't realise maybe Schroeder's not playing as bad as maybe as we think. It's just that we're used to seeing the expertise of Spencer, so we're spoilt in that sense, aren't we, at the scrum half position at Bath because of the quality of Ben Spencer.
Yeah, I mean, Benny's a world-class 9. You can say that by the way we're talking about somebody who's not even on the pitch, and someone they're missing, and for some reason Eddie Jones goes a different route. That's a whole different conversation. But he has been for a long time. He was number 1 at Saracens for a few years as well, so he's a great player. But Bath are not losing because of a scrum half not being here today.
That's very true. Yeah, as de Carpentier walks off under his own power, which is good to see. Bath take the penalty, get it up to halfway. Tom Dunn will throw in, captain for the night, of course, in the absence of Spencer. Throws to Dave Atwood. Now Bath need to get a surge on here. They're right on halfway. Atwood in possession, working the ball back to Dunn. Bath still have possession, still have control. Wayne Barnes in a good position here as well to see what's going on. And Bath have to bring in extra numbers, of course, without Schroeder on the field, and that's maybe where Wasps have managed to force the breakdown, and they forced the turnover as well. Frustration for Bath. They will be put into the scrum for Wasps, and that was perhaps where they did miss not having the scrum half on the field.
Exactly that. That for me is probably why. I mean, Bath have got a bit of momentum there, but it's got a bit scraggy at the back. We've got, I think, Matt Gallagher, who's he can play a lot of positions in the back line. That's great to have, but I don't think 9's one of them. That conversation, that transition between your hooker being on the ball and your 9 right behind him when he wants it, when he doesn't want it, keep going in the direction. You've got pressure, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. It's something that they've lost, and that's probably come down to it. So that isn't a Maul problem because they've been quite dominant in the Maul, Bath. That's probably one aspect they've been okay in. That's just the transfer between the 2 and the 9.
Yep, so it will be a put in just inside the Wasps half for Wasps at the scrum. The clock says we've got 34 minutes to play in the second half. Ball goes in now, scrappy ball, and a penalty for Wasps there, and again Bath frustration for them right on halfway here. A chance for Wasps to kick deep down in Bath territory.
Compounding
just
errors.
what they didn't need, yeah.
Compounding errors. You know, you have your own maul in the same position in the field, you get a turnover. What's the worst thing you can do? You give another penalty. So it's not just yards you're conceding. You know, it's a big mental blow. In a game that you're chasing where you need to be up, you've just had a yellow card. Penalties are key. I know that's an obvious statement, but when you're giving up 40 yards and he's kicking to within 8-9 metres of your try line, you know, that's hard. You've just made an exit, you've got to sniff it, and you're back defending your own line again.
Yeah, that was a good kick from Wasps again, wasn't it, there to take play down deep inside Bath's half of the field. Looks like John Skuma might be coming on soon for Bath. Throw into Launchbury, throws the ball back down to the scrum half. Now they get the surge on here through the forwards. Well worked move, obviously well rehearsed move from Wasps as they try to go for that fourth try bonus point. Already leading 31-7. Wasps pushing forward. Arms out from Wayne Barnes again for a penalty advantage to Wasps. So they're patient with the ball. Get expansive with it there. The scrum half tries to dance around, gets taken to ground though, and keeping possession, Wasps here, but they're right up against that try line, Bath end of the field. Arms still out from Barnes. Wasps go on looking for try number 4. Go for the forwards again. Bath get a good surge back, push them back a little bit there. Wasps keep possession. They got the penalty advantage, of course. So they're going to get expansive. Here comes the pass. Can they dance through the middles? Oldendal, the South African, crashing forward. Now they come out to Atkinson. He's met by a couple of Bath defenders, but he's still trying to drive those legs forward. So Bath had to bring in an extra defender to take into ground. Pass from Launchbury goes behind the Wasps teammates. They keep possession though somehow. And Porter will recycle. Wayne Barnes happy for play to go on here. It's with Wasps still in possession.
Still got Porter. Advantage as well, I believe.
And now there's a chance for Bialo. Bialo, that's nice hands again. And now they've got a chance to get the ball out to Bassett on the far side of the field. He's going to have a clean run into the corner. He slides down too easy in the end, and that's where you have the man advantage. Of course, space is going to tie it in the end, and it's Josh Bassett who's gone in for his second try of the night, and Wasps get another try, their 4th try bonus point, and it goes from bad to worse for Bath. It's Bath 7, Wasps 36.
Number down, you know, you give away a penalty, they've got a free play, you're going to be exposed on one edge. I think the sheer panic from Bialo there when he found the ball in his hand in the midfield. Hell of an offload. They managed to get it back to Jacob Umanga, who found Josh Bassett on the wing, but you know, it is unfortunately going from worse to Bath. You know, as somebody who's been in the huddle under the posts, there's only so many times you can start saying the same message, and at the same point you get to yourself a huddle and again, we're here again, we haven't delivered on anything we've spoken about. We conceded a soft try, our discipline is killing us, we're making the same mistakes. We need to see a change in behaviour, and at the same point you're battling confidence because of the season they've just come from, the 2 defeats they're on. It's a tough place, it's a dark hole to get yourself out of.
A change at scrum half for Wasps as well. No mean replacement coming on for them. Dan Robson, the England international, comes on for Porter.
Just gets easier for Bath. Hell of a replacement, Dan Robson, a great servant to the Premiership. A great talent. You know, he's been around for years, and the reason that he's been at top class of his game is because he is an exceptional talent. And, you know, that'll be another thorn in Bath's side. So, yeah, Nizam Khan's coming off as well. I think he took a knock a few phases back, so I think he's earned his rest. Yeah, good operator.
Yeah, so we get ready for the restart for Bath. And the conversion missed by Umanga on that occasion. Launchbury leaps up for that one high, supported by his teammate, but does keep hold of it well there and takes play outside of the 22 of Wasps, who lead 36-7. 29 minutes to play. Kick from Wasps and Robson. Bath take it.
Willis
right on halfway. Gallagher has to represent this and does so. Wayne Barnes just telling Wasps to get back. Tells them again. Bath working hard to recycle the ball. Tom Dunn decides to pick it up himself and go.
Well, that's an improvement for the first half. They actually secured the ball from kicking back.
Yep, that small steps, isn't it, Matt? Like you were saying before.
It is. You can see Dave Atwood looking for Jack Willis there. Where is he? And hitting him quite hard as he was counter-rucked.
And you can see Jack Willis just thinking, picking his time almost, isn't he? So Bath kick, Umanga's underneath it, and that's probably the first mistake he made. He dropped it, but it went backwards. Robson then knocks it forward, surely. Wayne Barnes lets that one go on. That was clearly a knock-on by Dan Robson, the scrum half. And the referee lets play go on. They're on their own 22.
A very good box kick from Matt Gallagher as well. I'm sure that's something he does in practice.
So maybe he can play scrum half.
Take it back.
Here's Robson kicking now after his knock-on wasn't given. And Gallagher back in his normal position of fullback. Dances around one tackle, finds a little bit of a hole, dances through it, makes some positive metres into the Wasp half. And Bath will have to play through Will Stewart playing the scrum half role there. Skuman comes in, having come onto the field for Lewis Boyce, and the kick, well, maybe not the best advised kick because he had a Wasp player right in front of him then. Orlando Bailey decided to try and put the kick through, but he knew he had the advantage, a penalty advantage coming, so tried it anyway. It was right into the face. I think it was Nazim Carr that took that one in his face, and we come back for a Bath penalty just inside of the Wasps half of the field. Orlando Bailey needs to find touch in a good position here, just to give Bath something.
That's a good kick.
It is a good kick, yeah. About maybe 10 metres out from the Wasp try line. And if Bath can just get something from this game now, from this position, 36-7 is the score at the Rec. And Wasps ringing the changes in their front row now as well.
There's a long way to go, but I think an improvement in performance would get the crowd really going now. You know, another score, some building, some big execution, and get this more going.
Josh McNally jumps up for that line-out throw from Tom Dunn, takes it. Bath trying to get the surge on. Dunn directing traffic. Dunn pushing forward. Bath pushing forward.
Be careful of Jack Willis around the side. Look, he hasn't changed his mind, but he knows where he is. He's right next to Tom Dunn. Tom Dunn's been called in.
His shoulders back on the field. He's got a penalty advantage here. Wasps infringing there. Bath get their advantage. The balls are broken up. Play a little bit of a surge from the crowd there, given something to cheer about as well. Here's Jonathan Joseph. A long pass attempt from Orlando Bailey. Thought too long about it, and we come back for the penalty. Just took too long to execute that pass.
Yeah, so that was Jack Willis. I think I said Jack Wills in the first half. Excuse me. Jack Willis did really well, but then he just changed his. I think it was Jack, or it was his brother Tom. Excuse me for getting that wrong. Just changed his mind at the last minute onto Tom Dunn, which caused it. It was great Maul defence, but he just slipped up at the very last minute. But Bath have another opportunity now.
Tom Dunn's going to tap and go, and Bath need something just to give themselves a lift, really. Tom Dunn goes, and he's taken about 3 metres out, and Bath will have to recycle. Dave Atwood has the next carry, maybe 2 metres out. Bath will go again. Are they up to the line? Not quite. The ball's there.
Just need to be aware of the Jackal threat.
Need the big men in there, don't they? Miles Reid is there, but it's picked up in front of him, and they go again. Bath.
Jonathan Joseph wide on the outside, I think.
Joseph wants the ball played out wide, doesn't he? But I think the forwards are going to try and keep this one in. What's the referee decided here? And he's Bath have got a penalty here.
See, now I'd be asking the question, okay, that's 2 on the trot, 2 metres from their line. Is there a warning? Is the next one a yellow? You know, you start getting Wayne back on side, that their discipline's getting slacking. They're under pressure. That's two in 30 seconds.
Well, it's worth asking, isn't it? In that sense there, you'd think that the referee has to at least be thinking about it, and instead of going for the tap and go this time, Orlando Bailey kicks for the corner, so a 5 metre line out for Bath. Tom Dunn will throw into it. Jonathan Joseph just coming in now to have a word and take his position back in line.
Obviously a special line out because they've put, is that Max Ajomo at the front of the line out, so this is obviously a rehearsal straight from the training ground now.
Have to make this count, don't they, Bath, really, just to give them something to pin their hat on. Throw in now, going to Dave Atwood. Atwood takes it, works the ball back to Dunn. Here comes the surge as Bath bringing extra numbers as well. pushing forward. They've got a Jomo in there as well, adding his weight behind the ball. The surge coming now. Bath up to the line. Are they over the line? They are. It's a try for Bath. Just what they needed. Bath get the try. It's still a long way back from here, but it's what they needed in that sense. They needed to make it count. On their second try of the night for Bath, it's 12 points to 36. Just what they needed. The pressure told there. They brought in the extra numbers and they crash over.
It's one thing that's gone, maybe that's something they can hold on to, is that the maul has gone well for them. There has been several penalties against Wasps in the maul, several infringements. Bath seem, one of the very few aspects that Bath seem to have ascendancy in this game, it is driving maul. So that's an area that if they do get an opportunity to put a line out, if they do get a penalty they can kick to touch, they know it's a weapon, and even Wayne Barnes knows that Wasps are struggling there. So you could get a penalty to a penalty. It's a quick way of getting upfield. So Bath needs to hang on, but it's one of the areas they've sorted out. They need to sort on some others now. A clean exit, put the pressure back on Wasps, regain the ball, build some phases and get in the right areas of the pitch. But it is a good positive, better improvement from Bath.
Yeah, and it's the captain on the night, Tom Dunn, that got that try. Orlando Bailey trying the conversion now. That's a solid kick straight through the middle for Orlando Bailey. Nice conversion. Bath 14, Wasps 36. Still a long way back, but it's something to build on, Matt.
Exactly, and it's something to lift the crowd, especially when you need that person there. You're a man down. You need the crowd on your side. You need to get behind them. So listen, let's make some noise. Get Bath on side. Let's see a real improvement. Let's get some more points on the board, and hopefully we can start creeping towards that number of 37. But that's a big ask, a tall order.
Yeah, and Bath, they just need now to take this one. They take that well, the restart there on the far side of the field. That's a good retake there. Will Stewart makes his way off the field. Aaron Oscourt-Zia comes on, and the Namibian international. And Bath, long way back from here still with 22 minutes to play, but momentum maybe from that try from Tom Dunn.
And back to a full contingent there of 15 as well. It's a good kick from Louis there.
Yeah, that's one of his better kicks of the night. Wasp just inside the Bath half. Robson takes the pass out to Atkinson. Atkinson to launch Bree, his captain. Back inside their own half, Wasps at the moment. Dummy run was Willis. Now they come inside, trying to wink his way through, or dink his way through, was Oldendal, the South African centre. They're into the Bath half now. Robson has a look up. And they're looking quite confident with the ball in hand, aren't they? Everyone wants to take the ball. Nobody's looking for the pass first time. Everyone wants to try and have a run. Atkinson will put a kick down this time. It's going to be straight to Joe Thokanasiga. Should have a look up and be able to recycle this one for Bath. Can't shake off the tackles of the Wasps players though. Is up to the 10-metre line in Bath's half, and Dave Atwood takes it on with a bulldozing run forward. Slow ball. Here's Tom Dunn. He's met immediately.
I think they set up an exit kick, so get the right men on feet, the right men to chase the kick.
And they have Schroeder in position to do the kick now. He's got his boot stretched out behind him. Here comes the kick. That's a better kick as well. Bassett's underneath it, takes it, bobbles it a little bit, but took it cleanly.
It's a great chase from Josh Bayliss there.
Puts Wasps under pressure. Wayne Barnes right in position. And Wasps able to present that for Dan Robson to clear away, pass into his second row, Kieran McDonald, and now they bring in the Caterpillar to make some extra space. And Robson thought about the kick, goes back to Umaga instead. He drives the kick, low driven kick across field, banks his once into the hands of Will Muir. Will Muir, we know he can be a dangerous runner, and he decides to pin his ears back and run, which is what Josh Bassett did earlier on for Wasps, and it worked. Here's McNally now in the middle of the field. The ball goes loose for McNally though, knocked on, and an unforced error there. It was a solid hit he took there, Josh McNally, wasn't it? Loses the ball forward. He's just having a word with Wayne Barnes, saying he was taken a little bit high. Wayne Barnes just explained to McNally his reasoning. He's given the knock on, and it will be a put into a scrum for Wasps, and Bath will be frustrated there because they were showing signs of making something happen.
There's a little battle there. You can see that obviously Josh knocks the ball on. Obviously unfortunate, unlike him as well. And then the frustration of him asking if the tackler's onside straight back to Wayne Barnes, which he didn't like. You know, you need to keep the referee on side. It's so easy for your frustration to get the better of you. They're keeping the ref on side, and you know, it looks like Josh might have a point here.
I think Wayne Barnes now has decided to go and have a look at the screen as he's walking off towards the big screen.
Is this something more sinister than an offside?
this could be, obviously would have been radioed down from the TMO, so Wayne Barnes just talking to Anthony Woodthorpe, his assistant there, but Josh McNally wasn't happy, was he? In the way there, it was Jack Willis, wasn't it, that forced the ball loose because of that hit. I think he took the brunt of it too. And Wayne Barnes will have a look at this on the big screen to see if there's any.
It's head to head. He hasn't done. I'm not sure there's much force going into that.
But his arms weren't there, Matt, were they?
No, it's so hard how you look at this. You know, the tackle comes from low. It is head to head. With my Bath hat on, I'm saying, yeah, I can see that. With a neutral hat on, I was like, what a bad way to end for somebody who's had such a good game.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things, really. You could have cards every game, couldn't you, for those kind of things? A yellow card for Jack Willis. And Josh Millay making his point to Wayne Barnes. Bath win the penalty. Yellow card to Willis, goes off the field. 20 minutes 26 seconds to play. BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Radio Somerset, BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra with me, Dan Albert, and the former Bath captain Matt Garvey. Bath 14, Wasps 36. This is the scorecard at the moment. The kick from Orlando Bailey inside the 22 of Wasps.
This 10 minutes is huge. You know, Wasps have just lost arguably the best player of the night, the talisman, you know, the thorn in Bath's side in terms of the breakdown. I know they have several other weapons, but this is massive now. If Bath gets some ascendancy and gets another quick try, you know, and still have time on the clock to try and get another one with him off the pitch, hope they can make this count.
And after last week, of course, what happened when they had the red card for Sale, they'll be determined to make this one count when they the yellow card for Willis.
Hopefully they learned their lesson last week.
Yeah. Dunn has the ball at the back on the maul here. He goes alone now, breaks away. He's taken around by Carr. Here's Schroeder putting a pass. That's a good run through the middle from Bath, taking the ground 5 metres out. Now they get adventurous dancing through the middle. They're over there. Great dancing try from Bath. And it's Jonathan Joseph that's gone over there for that one. And that was a great finish, just danced around as the pass was put up to him, danced in, dance over, crashes over, and Bath get their third try and gives themselves some hope in this game. It's at Bath 19, Wasps 36.
There is a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel here. I'm not getting too excited, but you can see the impact already not having Jack Willis on. He's been defending at the side of the maul. He's not there. Tom Dunn gets the gain line. He's been a thorn in their sides in the jackal. All of a sudden, Joe Thog-Singer, big carry, quick ball out to Jonathan Joseph. Another evades the tackler and gets it over the line. He's either there in the maul or he's here in the breakdown to slow it down. He's not been there. Bath score a quick try.
Here's Francis on as a replacement, has added the conversion as well. So it's 21-36 here, and suddenly the scoreboard doesn't look insurmountable, does it?
100%. There's plenty of time on the clock, so Bath have to be patient, understand that. But from Wasps' point of view, they're like, is this King's Own all over again? You know, Bath needs to play on that. They need to get some points on the board quickly again. Whether it's even 3, you know, just keep it moving, keep it ticking over, and keep that seed of doubt growing in the Wasps players' mind.
Quinn Roux on for his Bath debut as he replaces Dave Atwood in the second row, and a lot of expected against Quinn Roux. A lot of people excited by his signing. Ireland international, of course, but coming on to the field in this situation, not the easiest way to make your debut.
But it's an opportunity moment to be a fan favourite very quickly.
Absolutely, yeah. And Bath with 3 tries now, Matt, and can look up and think, well, realistically, they might be able to get something out of this game.
Definitely. A good kick there from Louis, good exit again, so there we go. Back-to-back basics, done very well. Wasps are under pressure, they've lost one of their jumpers in the line-out. Makes it different, maybe make it a little bit easier for Bath to defend and put some pressure in the air. So we'll see what they do here. They've got a great line-out caller, obviously, in Joe Launchbury. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but Bath need to make this count. Keep backing up these good plays, keep putting that seed of doubt in their mind, and keep plugging away.
And there is another Wasp player down just on one knee at the moment, receiving a little bit of treatment. And that's why there's a break in play. The countdown clock says 17 minutes and 48 seconds at the rec.
It's always amazing when a player goes down and then when the referee says time's off, they get back up. They're trying to kill that yellow time. The old Kit Kat take a break.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not anything, I suppose, that Wasps would do that any other team wouldn't, isn't it, in those situations? Wasps win the line out there. Bath need to disrupt this, because if they've stolen any kind of momentum, they need to keep hold of that momentum. But Wasps trying to wrestle momentum back with this Maul coming through, driving forward as well. and keeping possession. Wasps frustrating Bath here because this is something that will eat down the clock as well.
Defended it well.
Robson has to play that one though. Good tackle from Bath. Have they managed to steal the ball? It's gone loose there. Bath have stole the ball. Can they get the ball away? It's gone behind them a little bit. So loose pass across the field to Will Muir. Will Muir takes it. Can he get away? He can. He's got away from Kibarigi. Will Muir's on a run. He puts the kick through. Will Muir chasing this one. It's in goal. Can Will Muir get there first? The crowd think he has. What's Wayne Barnes decided though, more importantly? Well, the crowd think he got there first. Wayne Barnes isn't sure. The ball initially kicked through by Will Muir. It come off, took a ricochet off a Wasps player, and then it continued towards the in-goal area at Wasps, and the player's gone into the board, I think, at the far end of the field.
The body language suggests that they didn't score it, but that's a great weighted kick. And again, I said, when Bath put plays together, when they get the opportunity, when they get the ball wide, when they use their dangerous players, they look like they can get through Wasps' defence.
So the touch on that one, first of all, was a Wasps hand by the looks of it, wasn't it, there? So Wasps get the touch. There's no try on the big screen there, but then as the player that got the touchdown slid, his momentum took him into the board at the back, and he's receiving a little bit of treatment at the moment. Berger Oldendal, the South African centre.
He'll be in no rush. He'll be in no rush to get up. He could be injured. I hope he's not, but he could also be fine. And again, the reverse of what happened in the first half. They're just trying to kill a bit of that Bath momentum. Take a break in the game, take a play, just let everyone settle down.
Will Muir left Kibarigi, who's no slouch himself, left him for dead there as he put the kick away. Kibarigi almost looked like he was stuck in mud a little bit as he tried to turn to give chase. Will Muir was off then, and as the ball took a ricochet off another Wasp player, it went into the in-goal area. Will Muir chasing after that. He doesn't get the nickname horse for nothing, does he, with that speed, as Wasps start with a dropout, and it will be fielded by Orlando Bailey just inside half of Wasps. He's going to run at them as well, runs over them. Good carry from Orlando Bailey up here in the middle of the field here. Now it's Skuman taken to ground immediately. He gets rid of the ball though in contact. Jonathan Joseph, who's coming more into the game in the last few minutes after that try. Skuman again.
Quick ball from Bath. He's really good at the moment. The breakdown's really quick.
Dummy pass from Bath there, keeping it through the middle was Josh Bayliss, and now Jonathan Joseph again. Good dancing feet from Orlando Bailey. He's twisted around a little bit. Keeps possession though. Schroeder back to Miles Reid now.
Credit to Wasps though, they're still coming off the line, the defence.
Penalty for Bath though, as Manga questions it as the ball gets cleared to round, but Bath win the penalty just inside the 10-metre line in Wasps half of the field.
Again, the speed of ball for Bath there is exceptional. You know, they're starting to stress the Wasps defence. It's been exceptional all night. They're starting to, test them left, right, through the middle, and then the player doesn't roll away. Opportunity to go back to what they've been really good at tonight, which is the maul.
But the question would be, Matt, where's that been for the rest of the night, isn't it, from a Bath perspective?
But once you find something that you can hold on to, you can start to build your game around it, and that maul has been that glimmer they can hold on to. The breakdown wasn't great, it's getting better, but that's because their key man is in the bin.
It will be a 5-metre line out for Bath. Tom Dunn making his way up now. This is a big moment in this game. Bath pushing for what would be their 4th try, which would give them a bonus point, and that didn't look likely earlier on in this game at half-time in particular. Bath would be delighted with their second half to get back in that as they hit McNally in the line out. Now they're looking to get the surge. They bring in backs as well. They've taken in a Jomo to add his weight into there. Wasps trying to disrupt it. Bath pushing up forward, still going now, bringing numbers. Schroeder gets involved, as does the extra players. Everyone's in there pretty much, apart from Joe Buckins. They're up to the line. There's the try for Bath. They push over. That's the bonus point try. They will get something out of this game. It hasn't been their best night, but they're getting closer on the scoreboard as well. And Bath now 26, Wasps 36. It's a 4th try for Bath on the night. It's Tom Dunn again, and it's a 4th try bonus point for Bath.
How good is this that the Wreckers come alive? Look at the body language of the Wasps players. Look at the body language of the Bath players. There's a sense of belief. Maybe we can. We're getting there. Wasps players are like, okay, what do we do now? This arm wrestle's going back and forth. It's not going to be over. There's 13 minutes and there's 10 points in it. This kick makes it big. Could be 8. Bath, just keep doing what you're doing. What you're doing. You get in there. You're putting pressure. You're finding edge. Horse has been exceptional on the edge. The maul's going really well. You're starting to find aspects of the game where you're making a difference.
And Wasps may start to think about that Gloucester game now, that may be in their minds as well, as Francis comes forward and slots that over, straight through it goes. He's made a good start to his Bath career, hasn't he? Slots that over, and suddenly it's game on at the Rec. It's Bath 28, Wasps 36.
It is. I don't think people probably don't understand it. You see professional athletes, you probably think they're resilient. Honestly, when you have demons, when you've not been performing well, they are there in the back of the mind, and it is easy for them to come out in big moments.
It's been a costly yellow card for Wasps, hasn't it, for Willis?
It's not over yet.
Losing your best player, or best player on the night, and Bath exploiting Wasps for it. What have we got? 12 minutes 41 to play. Bath need to catch this when they do so through Thuckenasiga. And Bath will have to work a clearance here. Don't go for the kick immediately. They're right on their own 22. And slow ball for Bath. Are they going to kick this time? They are. Schroeder. He seems to have found a little bit of a kicking range more, doesn't he?
Amazing exit. That's a great exit.
Since that yellow card he had, he's looked a different player since he's come back on.
That's the difference momentum makes, though. It gives you that belief. You know, it starts to play on your game a little bit. You've gone from your own 22 to now you're in their half. The territory has swung. You know, Tom Dunn just taking some bit of R&R here. I'm sure this will be a little tactical because he doesn't go down very often at all. It gives opportunity for, you know, Josh McNally, Quinn Rood, Josh Bayliss, big line operators now to go, right, okay, where can we put pressure on?
Looks like that will be the end of Tom Dunn's night, because Tom Doughty is already making his way onto the field.
I can't tell you how much that will hurt him. He scored 2 tries.
Yeah.
Ball's going well. Could he have got a hat-trick the night he was captain?
Yeah, great reception for Tom Dunn. He never lets Bath down, does he, Tom Dunn? He's one of those players, the crowd love him. They show their appreciation. He waves back as well as he makes his way off the field. Standing ovation for the Bath standing captain tonight. 2 tries for him. He's got Bath back into this one at the Rec. 28-36, 12 minutes to go. BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Radio Somerset, BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra with me, Dan Albert, and the former Bath Rugby captain, Matt Garvey. Wait for the game to get going again.
Just getting some treatment to a Wasp player on the far side. I think if Bath were to get a win, if Bath would manage to get the win, I think that would round off a perfect night for Tom Dunn. You know, he's a homegrown lad, you know, just up the road in Chippenham. He loves this club more than probably most players you realise. You know, he bleeds it. And to score 2 tries, to lead the comeback himself, to be a captain on a night, on Friday Night Lights, which is his favourite night of the week, I know that for sure. You know, that would round up a great night for him. So fingers crossed that for him it does go well, but there's still 12 minutes left to go, and there's still plenty of rugby left to play.
Yeah, Will Porter, the scrum half, had to come back onto the field for Wasps because Josh Bassett has gone off for a blood injury. And we start again with a line out for Wasps, far side of the field. They take it cleanly, and we're inside the final 12 minutes here, and it's a different game now than what it was much earlier on in this one. Certainly at half time it didn't look good for Bath, but they've played much better in the second half, helped by a yellow card, and now they put a good surge in there as well. What Wayne Barnes decided to do is give a turnover to Bath, and Bath have their tails up. Matt Garvey, this is much better than the crowd are showing their appreciation for the response from Bath.
The Maud itself has been exceptional. I know that the work they've put in that. I know Johan van Graan has obviously been a specialty of his with South Africa and with Munster, so Luke Charteris, Neil Hatley, what they've done is starting to pay off. Again, you know, their tails are up. You know, they've got a sniff, they can see it, they're in the half, they kick down now, or is it a scrum? They're going to turn up, yeah, it's a scrum. There's an opportunity for them to strike play to test them out wide like they've been doing, giving people like Big Joe Thuckenasiga, Will Muir, who are dangerous, you know. This Bath line is full of talent. You can't, Jonathan Joseph, Max Ujoma, Orlando Bailey, you have to make them defend with 2 because their feet are so good, but if you mark them with 2 players, there's a space out wide for their dangerous wingers.
Yeah, the bad news for Bath is that Jack Willis, yellow card, 10 minutes is almost up. He's bouncing around on the touchline, ready to get back onto the field as soon as he possibly can. Still got a few seconds to run on it, so we will have to start this phase of play again. Bath put the ball in through Scruder. It's slow ball, though. He's under all kinds of pressure from Wasps at halfway. That's good pressure from Wasps. And the scrum half will do ever so well if he's managed to keep possession for Bath there, because he had about 2 or 3 Wasps players right on top of him. He has kept possession, and Bath bring it inside the Wasps half of the field.
Credit to Wasps, they only had 7 men in that scrum.
Piers Francis puts a cross-field kick. Who's chasing this one? Orlando Bailey is, and he's knocked it backwards as well. That's a good knockback from Orlando Bailey to Will Muir. Big hit there. And now it's, what a great carry from Coetzee. Coetzee gets it away to Francis. Francis then loads to Ojomo. Ojomo inside the 22. Bath trying to spread it wide now. Here's Schumann having a carry. Inside the 22, disrupted again from Robson. Looked a bit of a shoulder charge from him on his opposite number, but Bath keep possession. They're out of the 22 now. Here's Van Veltzer having a carry. Back inside the McNally. McNally taken to ground. Crowd trying to get behind Bath here. They sense something special could be on. Bath have to take advantage. Well, Jack Willis is still off the ball. That pass goes behind, but it's gone backwards. It was lost by Bath, but backwards says Wayne Barnes. And Bath messy now. It's they've lost a little bit of control, and Wasps have managed to wriggle the pass clear, but it's a kick straight at Coetzee. Coetzee offloads the pass straight into the hands of his Wasps opposite number. And Dan Robson's in position here, and he might be well advised just to kick this one off and let Wasps regroup, with Willis about to rejoin the fray here. But instead he goes to Carr inside the 22, and a missed opportunity you feel for Bath there. If they could have got that pass away through Coetzee, they would have been in a dangerous position, but he threw it behind him to keep the ball alive, and it went to a Wasps player. The ball goes off the field, and here comes Jack Willis back onto the field. And also the blood bin replacement is going to be reversed now, with Josh Bassett making his way back onto the field as well for Will Porter.
I think the big man was screaming panic then when he got the ball and he could see open daylight. Not very often a prop finds himself in that sort of space. So listen, Bath have still got their finger on the pulse. You know, they've got a line-out opportunity on the 10-metre line. Attacking play, great. This is where you practice week in, week out. And when you run through your plays, you always go to the 10-metre line. This is an opportunity for you to run something on the training ground. You know, but the big man's rested now for Wasps. Jack Willis, he's fresh, he's dangerous. He's looking to secure this game, so they can't take their eye off the ball.
Ben Morris is on in the back row for Wasps, replacing Nizam Carr. It's a line out for Bath, just outside of the 10-metre line in Wasps half. Schroeder takes it to Jonathan Joseph. He's got the runner alongside him of Ojomo. They combine quite well. Keep possession to Francis. The pass has gone behind everybody though, and Joe Thokanasika just has to jump on the ball. And Bath, messy ball for them. Keep possession, that's the main thing. They are inside the Wasps half of the field. Almost back at halfway now though, and they try to go down the blind side. Strong running up to the 10-metre line for Bath. Inside the 10-metre line, the pass to Miles Reid. He's met by a wall of Wasps defenders. Wasps are getting pressure on Bath here, and they're making it difficult for them to get the offloads away. But Bath making progress. Is Reid again. Orlando Bailey looks one way. Again, the ball's going to bounce around. Bath letting it bounce around a little bit too much there, but here's a chance. Attempted pass there from Bath's GJ Van Velzer. Was trying to get the pass away to Will Muir, but it was a low pass to him, and it was almost like a daisy cutter, wasn't it? But Wayne Barnes has seen an infringement going across the far side of the field for a Bath penalty.
Kick to the corner, driving more. It won't be the same because Jack Willis is back on, and he's a key defender in this. But wait until you hear the noise come from the corner here.
And there's the noise that you could hear just from that bit alone, wasn't it, really? Bath need to get behind. Didn't quite get the Exeter key. Exeter in that position would put it 5 metres out, wouldn't they, every time? Bath are only just inside the 22, so they won't be best pleased with the distance on the kick. The main thing is, of course, they found touch, not like Billy Burns for when he was going for broke in the Ireland game. And Bath will keep possession, so a throw in for Tom Doughty, the replacement hooker. Will throw in any moment now, no in rush here, and then Wasps are disrupting that one. Bath though do manage to jump up and take it through McNally, and now they're looking to get the surge on. Doughty goes to the back to try and get himself into the position where we've seen Tom Dunn. There's a arm stretch from Barnes as well, so a penalty coming. So Jonathan Joseph will run at Wasps into the 22. He goes, a scrappy ball there as they try to play the ball. Piers Francis off the floor by tapping it along to a teammate. We come back for a Bath penalty though on the far side of the field, and we've got inside the final 6 minutes now. It's 28-36, boiling up nicely for the last 5 minutes. A try now for Bath, and it certainly is game on.
100%. It's a great dart, that line-up from Tom Doughty. So I think it's his first two line-outs. One's to the towel, one's heavily contested, and he hits Quinn Roux right at double tops. Confidence is high, driving more, ball to the back. Watch them pile the backs in again.
And 6 metres out here, Matt, as well. This is where they wanted to be. Of course, this is where they would have liked to have been on that last penalty, but they get there now. Execution's the key, as you've been saying all night. Tom Doughty needs to hit his jumper, and Bath need clean ball here. Doughty waits, they take position, Bath, and they hit the jumper. McNally again, he's had a solid game, the second row for Bath. No real surge though.
Jack Willis is there again, stalking around the side.
Yeah, it makes a difference, doesn't it, there, because they haven't got the surge on like they have before. In fact, they've gone backwards, so they have to play this one through Schroeder. Here's Miles Reid. Miles Reid is met by a Wasps defender. Bath keep possession. Can they force their way through here?
Wasps are winning the race around the corner. They're getting the defence set first. It's great work from them at the moment.
Schumann has a carry for Bath. Now it's with McNally. Pushes forward again. Bath pick up at the base. That's all. Roux that has that carry. Making his debut. Quinn Roux. Bath still have possession. They're about 7 metres out. Pushing forward again. That's a good solid surge from Bath. Inside 5 metres from that Wasp try line. They've got numbers there as well. Patient ball from Bath. They bring in extra numbers. Got to be careful here. Don't want to overdo things here. It's got to be ever so careful. It's McNally that goes again there. In fact, it's Miles Reid that's at the bottom of that one and picks it up in front of McNally.
Got to stay calm, got to stay calm. Yes. They practice this every day, every week. They know there's threats, but they're in their twos, they're in their threes. They can secure it. Once the Wasps defence tighten up, there could be space.
Here comes the surge from Bath. They're getting closer, they're up to the line. Can they get the ball down? They're not quite up to the line, so they'll have to go again. They're about to half a metre out from that try line now. Wasp player loses his shirt in the tackle process. Bath keep possession. Shirt back on from the Wasp player as Bath keep possession and push within a metre of that try line now. It's a bit messy in there. Lots of bodies on the floor. Bath working hard though. This is a key moment of the game. 2 minutes and 55 seconds to go. Bath keeping it in tight.
It's a balance between chewing up time though as well now.
This is the thing, isn't it? Bath need to score, and they will need to score again as well if they want to win this game, so they need to score reasonably quickly. The main thing is to score, I suppose, in that sense though. Wayne Barnes in a good position. Bath pushing forward again. Are they up to the line this time? No, says Wayne Barnes, but he has got his arm out for a Bath penalty. Now he's put his arm back down again. Bath get expansive, crossfield kick from Francis, and they're going to catch it. Can't quite get there. It was a good execution. They tried to put the ball across for Bath to catch in the corner. They knew they had the advantage. Joe Thoganasiga just a fraction too late to get there. Couldn't quite take the ball in stride, couldn't therefore get the dot down. The clock is still running. 2 minutes it says, and Bath need to get on with this game quickly. The crowd know it. Bath players surely know it. They need to get on with it. We're inside the final 2 minutes. This is too slow.
Gone for posts.
Well, I suppose you've got to score two times, so it doesn't matter which order you score those points in, as long as you get this kick. This will get you
right in the
within the losing bonus point range as well, of course. So Francis, 1 minute 32.
If he was to hit the post here, this would be interesting. Or the Wasp boys are in a huddle.
Yes, they're not looking up at all, are they? Piers Francis, just outside the 22. We'll look up now. And slots it through. It goes. So Bath decide to take the points. Doesn't matter what order they come. 31-36. They're within that losing bonus point territory now, which didn't look possible at one point, did it? And certainly now, with a minute to go, they have to have a phrase. So Bath know now if they want to win this, they've got to go the full length of the field, pretty much.
I'm not sure anyone would in the hero would have said at half time that if you'd said with 1 minute left on the clock, Bath would have been one score away from winning this game. You know, you have to commend that. But at the same point, you know, conceding 31 points in one half isn't great. But listen, there's a lifeline here. The Bath have an opportunity. Regather the kick-off, tighten up their defence and give an opportunity. Max Green's coming on now.
Yeah, interesting time of being Max Green on, really, isn't it?
It is, you know, to give him the fun away. But as a defender, you've now brought on a fresh 9. You've got to think about being tight to the breakdown because of the show and go. The threat that he now poses with his fresh legs.
Yeah, Bath, if they come away with 2 points, I'm sure that, you know, from where they were, that's a great achievement to come away with 2 points. But they have a chance to get something more out of this. Joe Thokinasiga takes the restart and he runs back at Wasps up to the 22. Clock says we've got 45 seconds to go. Bath have a long way to go, but their tails are up. And Wasps will be fearing the worst here, so Bath have to be careful. They can't afford any mistakes here. They try to get the ball out wide. It's with Tom Dougherty on the far side of the field. Penalty against Bath, and that will do it. Wasps could even take the points away, the bonus point away from Bath here if they slot this one over, and that's where that mistake, but that decision to go for the post earlier on may come back to bite you.
It's just, I'm not sure if the definitive ending on a jackal is not surprising. I'll be fair. It's hard if they were to get this through the post and Bath lose this point. I'm not sure how you'd feel. You know, they've worked so hard and so tirelessly, and to get 2 points is better than nothing. But to get 1 point would be close to heartbreak.
Yeah, the game is gone for Bath now. That penalty put paid to that. Some fans decided that's time to make their way to the exit.
Unless he hits the posts.
That's very true. That's something that you don't tend to think about there, doesn't it? If he hits the post, then it's all game back on again, isn't it? But not thinking of that. Jacob Manga's played very well tonight, hasn't he? Kicking that goal. He has. And kicking from the far side. Not the easiest of kicks for him here, by the way, but it won't affect Wasps losing the game if he misses this one, but it would take a point away from Bath. Here comes Umanga. And what's he done with that kick? He has hit the post, but it went back in, and through it goes, and it does take the point away from Bath. That's deflating for them, because you said, Matt, they worked so hard to get that, and Umaga gets a penalty right at the death, takes a point away from Bath there. And that will be frustrating for them, won't it, in the sense that they could have gone away with 2 points. Much better performance from Bath in the second half, but they have lost this one by 39 points to 31.
It's a hard one to analyse for me. You know, if you take the game in its entirety, then it's obviously very disappointing to be from Bath. You know, Wasps, obviously they've ground out their first win of the season with a bonus point, so away from home, which is obviously positive. But you know, it's how you dissect this game. I mean, Bath, you can see 31 points in the first half. You know, you're probably going to struggle to win any Premiership game with that. But then the character to come back, you know, the resilience to build their game around certain aspects has been impressive. So there is something for them to build on. There is, as dark as they will feel in that change room right now, as dark as this week will be, is that they've lost 3 on the trot. You know, there is something there that they can hang their hat on and say, look, this is a strong group of boys that can come back, and we did get ourselves a chance to win it. Wasps' point of view, you know, they'll be over the moon with a win, but the fragility is still there. You know, that second half is that when a team gets on top of you, how do you regain control? That power to regain control and regain power of that arm wrestle. So it's a tough one. There's some pros and cons from both teams, but ultimately Wasps leave here with a bonus point win away from home in the Premiership.
Yeah, from Bath's point of view, the fact that they gave themselves a chance of even winning this game, which, let's be frank, at half-time it looked like they had no chance of winning this game, but to have a chance in the final minute of winning the game, much less getting within a bonus point, they could have had a chance to win it. That's a great testament to the team in the way that they fought back, isn't it, in that second half?
100%. And if you're one of the Bath coaches, you probably went in at half-time and probably said some words that you cannot repeat on air, and you got a reaction from your players. You know, you got something. You know they can do the job. You know they can listen to you. When you talk about breakdown, when you talk about set piece, when you talk about executing skills and putting pressure on and looking out wide or whatever it is, you know the players can do it. For Bath right now, they don't feel that way. Okay, and it's going to be horrible and it's going to be tough. They're 0-3 in the Premiership. You know, there was obviously a big atmosphere this year, building on from what happened last season, but they can't focus on that. They've got to focus on the positives, and as much as Monday they'll live through the clips of how easy they made it for Wasps to score tries, they have to hang their hat, they have to focus on that positive of that second half performance.
4 tries for Bath in the end, including 2 for Tom Dunn, but it has been a second straight home defeat for Bath Rugby under Johan van Graan, who looks very disappointed, as you well would expect, away to our right hand side. We'll get his post-match thoughts as soon as we possibly can. The full-time score at the Recreation Ground tonight is Bath Rugby 31, Wasps 39.
It's the Friday match on BBC Radio Bristol, BBC Radio Somerset, approaching 10:15. A very exciting game at the Rec. After a very disappointing first half for Bath, they fought back in the second half. Tries for Matt Gallagher, 2 for Tom Dunn, the captain, and Jonathan Joseph. But it's just the try bonus point for Bath this evening and a third successive defeat.
Back onto halfway, Wasps, and here comes Umanga. Gets the pass away, trying to get Bassett involved. Bassett's going to run on the outside of Gallagher. Bassett's going to have to touch this one down, and he does. And Bath will be frustrated there because they had a chance to just deal with that, it looked like. It was a kick through from Bassett, and as he put the kick through, it was a chance really for Bath to either shove it into touch, pick it up, or do something with it, but the banks went away. Bassett was the fastest to react. He touches down, and Wasps extend their lead, and Bath will be frustrated with that. It's Bath taken to ground. Wasps 11. Wasps, though, looking dangerous again, trying to get the momentum over the line. Are they over the line this time? Wayne Barnes is right there, very close, but not given on this time. We come back, and there's going to be a penalty for Wasps. Looked like Wayne Barnes was considering going to the pocket then for a second. He hasn't, and we come back for the penalty there. It looked like Wasps may have got over then, but obviously didn't get the grounding. Well, Wayne Barnes has just decided to go and have a look. Is he looking to see if the ball was grounded, to get a clear sight of the ball there, so that you can see the ball there, and it looks like it's grounded. What's Wayne Barnes going to decide to do? He's running back towards, he's going to give the try, isn't he? What's threatening again here as they get the ball way outside. It goes to Umanga now inside. That's great offload, and Porter's going to go in under the sticks for Wasps. Their third try. What a great offload that was, inside from Oldendal, and then he goes under the post. Porter, the scrum half. Jonathan Joseph gets a pass away. Bailey goes through the middle. Can he get away? Good offload from Bailey, and now Bath have got a chance to get in the corner. Bath are going to get a try. That's what they needed. Bath over in the corner, and it's Matt Gallagher, the fullback, that's got it for Bath. His home debut. He gets a try. It's what Bath needed. Can that be the spark of a comeback? Bath get the try they needed. It's Bath 5, Wasp 25. And there's a chance for Bialo, that's nice hands again. And now they've got a chance to get the ball out to Bassett on the far side of the field. He's going to have a clean run into the corner. He slides down, too easy in the end, and that's where you have the man advantage. Of course, space is going to tie it in the end, and it's Josh Bassett who's gone in for his second try of the night, and Wasps get another try there. Throw in now, going to Dave Atwood. Atwood takes it, works the ball back to Dunn. Here comes the surge as Bath bringing extra numbers as well. Pushing forward, they've got a Jomo in there as well, adding his weight behind the ball. The surge coming now. Bath up to the line. Are they over the line? They are. It's a try for Bath. Just what they needed. Bath get the try. It's still a long way back from here, but it's what they needed in that sense. They needed to make it count. And their second try of the night for Bath. It's 12 points to 36. Just what they needed. The pressure told there. They brought in the extra numbers, and here's Schroeder putting a pass. That's a good run through the middle from Bath, taking the ground 5 metres out. Now they get adventurous dancing through the middle. They're over there. Great dancing try from Bath. And it's Jonathan Joseph that's gone over there for that one. And that was a great finish. Just danced around as the pass was put up to him. Danced in. Dance over, crashes over. And Bath get their third try. Taking in a Jomo to add his weight into there. Wasps trying to disrupt it. Bath pushing up forward. Still going now. Bringing numbers. Schroeder gets involved, as does the extra players. Everyone's in there pretty much, apart from Joe Bucket. They're up to the line. There's the try for Bath. They push over. Umaga. That's a bonus point try. They will get something out of this game. It hasn't been their best night, but they're getting closer on the scoreboard as well. And Bath now 26, Wasps 36. It's a 4th try for Bath on the night. It's Tom Dunn again, and it's a 4th try bonus point for Bath. Here comes Umaga, and what's he done with that kick? He has hit the post, but it went back in, and through it goes, and it does take the point away from Bath. That's deflating for them, because you said, Matt, they worked so hard to get that, and Umaga gets a penalty right at the death, takes a point away from Bath there.
So that victory for Wasps takes them up to 7th in the Premiership table on this Friday evening. Bath are 11th, played 3, lost 3, with Newcastle and Worcester behind them in the league table. Tomorrow in the Premiership, it's Bristol against London Irish, Northampton against Leicester, Saracens, Gloucester and Worcester against Newcastle. On Sunday, it's Exeter against Harlequins. And we've been delighted to have Matt Garvey part of our commentary team this evening. Matt, your final thoughts? How will Johan van Graan, do you think, reflect on tonight's game of 2 halves?
I think it's a tough one to start off with. It's evident that the Bath players are quite low on confidence. Like you said, the season they had last year, they're 0-3 now. So you can focus on the first half, or you can choose to focus on the second half. I think it's important to focus on that second half, that performance, that character that they showed, the opportunity to get back into the game. When you concede 31 points in one half of rugby, it's going to be difficult to get back into it. Obviously, something was said at half time that ignited a bit of a fire in them, and they ground out some performance, and something they can hold their hat on. If they deliver that over 80 minutes, then they'll beat a lot of teams in the Premiership. So, well, you can't hide from the poor performance it was in the first half. You have to salute the effort and what they tried to get out of it in the second half.
That second half was so important because we had Sale last week at half-time today trailing so heavily. I think Bath just showed Johan van Graan that they can play, they can be a good side.
Yeah, I said that to Dan. I mean, there's parts of their game which will be up there. I mean, their driving more for tonight was outstanding. It was something they could hold their hat on. The threat they pose out wide, Will Muir and Joe Thocken tonight, I thought when they got the ball in hand, it not only lifted the crowd but lifted the players around them. So there's aspects of their game which are really good. The problem they have at the moment is just their compounding errors. They make one error, then they follow up with another, and they follow up with another, and they go from 5 metres away from the Wasps try line to defending their own 5 metres line within 2 minutes. So it's something they need to work on, but they did show glimpses of it. They showed glimpses that they can threaten teams. They showed glimpses they can score points and put pressure on, and you have to tip your hat to one aspect, that they got themselves in position to almost win the game.
And when we met Johan van Graan in the summer, we were talking about Bath being pragmatic. So to concede 39 points, is that his biggest concern, do you think, tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, 39 points at home, it's a tough one. You can't hide from that fact. You can't hide from the fact that how easy it was for Wasps to score some of their tries, and defensively they need to tighten up. They've conceded far too many points too easily. It goes back to the first game of the season. They had a couple of momentary blips which we wrote off as just a new game, new season, when they just turned their back, and there was some quick tap and goes from the Bristol players, and then some real easy points tonight. So it's something they need to tighten up, because you're not going to win many games conceding 39 points. So no matter how many points you want to score, 39 points, to have to score more than that to try and win the Premiership game is going to be very tough for any team.
Yeah, and I think Johan van Graan will really get to see a squad this week. They've got Gloucester in the Premiership Cup on Wednesday, then a trip to London Irish next weekend.